industry. Finally, as committee chair, I plan to ensure that the conversation around TLC issues includes services that have long acted as critical transportation lifelines for neighborhoods and areas of the city, like my district. Commuter vans and traditional livery services. These services provide options to connect New Yorkers in transit deserts to transit hubs and other destinations, and we can't leave them out of the conversation. I hope to hear from our TLC chair about the ways the commission could act to support these vital sectors. We will now turn to testimony from TLC. But before we do so, I will now have our moderator and committee counsel call on the administration to testify and administer the oath.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Sam Breitbart, counsel to the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee of the City Council. Our first witness will be from the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission, Commissioner and Chair David Doe. I will now administer the oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee, and to respond honestly to council member questions? Thank you. You may begin when ready.
Okay. Good morning, Chair Brooks Powers and members of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I am David Doe, the Commissioner and Chair of the Taxi and Limousine Commission. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify before you today. Thanks to the leadership of the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, and the Taxi and Limousine Commission, and the entire TLC team, we're making great progress on our goals. To begin, I would like to give you an overview of the state of the for-hire industry. As the city and the nation recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic, our industry is coming back to life. Trip volumes are up. Since the beginning of the pandemic, black car and livery trips are up 59%. High volume trips, such as those in Uber and Lyft, are up 242%. And taxi trips are up an astounding 1,247%. These trip volumes are still below pre-pandemic levels, but the increase is encouraging. We're also seeing more drivers and vehicles getting back on the road, and importantly, driver earnings for both taxis drivers and high-volume drivers are above where they were pre-pandemic. We expect this growth trends in trips, vehicles, drivers, and income to continue apace with the city's recovery. Now, I would like to share something that makes us extremely proud. As I said at my confirmation hearing, TLC's first priority was to fully implement the Medallion Relief Program, which supports small taxi owners with the interest in 5 or fewer medallions. Under the program, principal loan balances were reduced to $170,000 from balances as high as $750,000, and loan payments are capped at $1,234 a month. This is down from an average monthly loan payment that was calculated at $2,200. Importantly, this program replaces personal guarantees with a city-funded guarantee, meaning no medallion owner risks losing their family home if they cannot make the payments. Council members, I'm happy to report that MRP Plus has been an astounding success. In 4 months, this first-of-a-kind program has helped owners of more than 1,100 medallions close on loans, resulting in $240 million of debt relief. During the week of September 19th, we were closing on loans, 1 every 3 minutes. It's hard to understate the importance of this program. MRP Plus not only brings back taxis and ensures that the riding public has access, but also provides a lifeline for thousands of drivers who lost income during the pandemic. The very nature of their business meant that they could not work from home and often could not work at all. MRP Plus is more than just dollar amounts. It is about families, food on the table, and the future of hardworking people who make the city run. Many of our drivers provide critical service during times of crisis, like those who have been donating free rides to migrants that the Texas governor is cynically busing to our city. People like Richard Chow, who's in this room today, support those efforts. An owner-driver who has been driving for 17 years. 4 years ago, his little brother Kenny, also a driver, was one of the 9 drivers who committed suicide. This was during a time when drivers, including the Chow brothers, were losing everything to predatory medallion loans. As Richard recently said when we hit the $225 million debt reduction, now I can make a livable income. bring the food to the table, and all drivers are so happy. We have no fear of losing our homes and losing our assets. That and the joy and relief we have seen in hundreds of drivers is what this program is about. But this critical relief can only work if drivers earn a dignified wage that keeps up with the times. We have proposed an increase in the taxi meter fare as well as high-volume driver pay. Our taxi drivers have not had a fare increase in 10 long years, and with inflation and the lingering effects of COVID-19, these drivers are hurting. At last week's public hearing on these proposals, many drivers voiced the great need for a pay increase just to cover expenses. The proposal increases the base fare, the rush hour fee, and airport fees. This includes a $65 flat rate for JFK trips and a $5 surcharge on LaGuardia trips. On for-hire driver pay, in 2018, the TLC found that 85% of high-volume for-hire drivers were making less than the minimum wage. This category includes Lyft and Uber. In response, TLC adopted rules establishing driver pay minimum. The rules have worked. Drivers are making more money with an average per driver income at an all-time high. A CPI increase is built in to make sure that driver pay keeps up with expenses. But the CPI for urban wage earners only captures a small part of the increased costs. To better address the skyrocketing operating costs, we're increasing rates by the rise in Transportation Cost Index. Also included in the driver pay proposal is a change in the rules around utilization rates. Utilization refers to the percentage of drivers on duty time that is spent with a passenger versus without one. This is part of a calculation for driver minimums. The TLC wants drivers to be able to work and not be locked out due to the utilization rate. Rather than micromanage these rates, we will require Uber and Lyft to stay within a range of 52 to 64%. This will ensure driver pay rates will continue to incorporate their downtime without incentivizing companies to lock out drivers. The majority testifying at last week's hearing supported both of these proposals. The TLC will vote on them in the coming weeks. Innovation and technology are vital tools to help the industry thrive. We are making data more accessible than ever before by increasing the number of metrics and frequency of data releases. We developed and released the State of the Industry dashboards to help the public navigate our most requested metrics. We also updated and released the TLC Data Hub tool, which allows people to easily access and visualize trip data by taxi zones. Once again, we are the first FHV regulatory agency in the nation to do this, and we intend to keep developing these tools because we value transparency and strive to ensure that our policies are empirically based. We will continue to look at how technology can help move the industry forward and meet customer needs and expectations. The fourth area I'd like to emphasize is sustainability. The TLC is committed to mitigating emissions and encouraging cleaner air. As part of this commitment, we are issuing 1,000 new for-hire vehicle licenses for electric vehicles only. These new licenses will help electrify the fleet and spur the development of more charging infrastructure. We are currently determining the requirements and application process for these new licenses. We will release more information in early December. While the prospect of new licenses is exciting, I urge potential applicants to wait on purchasing a new vehicle until those requirements and processes are released. We are also working on a comprehensive electrification plan, a roadmap on how we will replace gas-powered vehicles with electric vehicles and stand up necessary charging infrastructure. EVs are a win-win for drivers and customers. Drivers appreciate the fuel savings, and customers want sustainable transportation options. The for-hire vehicle industry has a role to play in being a part of the climate solution. This includes commuter vans, which reduces emissions and congestion. We're working with the state of the technology and safety improvements that can help advance this sector. We are in favor of the state legislation to allow commuter vans to receive street hails. They are a lifeline to residents who often live in transportation deserts. We will do this while continuing to make vehicles more accessible for people with disabilities. I'm proud to tell you that there are 6,000 accessible taxis and for-hire vehicles on the road now, including almost 2,000 more wheelchair-accessible vehicles. More than needs to be done, which is why we're looking at how we can increase the number of waves across all sectors and make our accessible dispatch program even more effective. The TLC is committed to meeting our 50% wave goal for taxis, and we will closely work with our medallion owners on this. In addition, we will continue to work with high-volume for-hire industry so that at least 80% of wave trips requests are provided within 15 minutes or less. I'm so excited to lead the TLC and the industry into a new frontier, where we emerge from a global pandemic stronger than ever before, more resilient, more accessible, and more environmentally sound. We will continue to support our drivers, our riders, and our city as we rebuild and get people back where they need to be for work, family, and fun. Thank you again for this opportunity to testify before you today. I look forward to answering any of your questions.
Thank you so much for that. Next, we're going to hear from our public advocate, Jamani Williams.
Thank you so much. As I mentioned, my name is Jamani Williams, a public advocate, City of New York. I want to thank the chair and members of the committee for having this hearing, and thank you, Commissioner, for being here as well. Today, the committee will consider, among other bills, Resolution 0292, which I'm happy to co-sponsor with the chair, and I thank the chair for having a hearing on this legislation. The resolution will call on the New York State Legislature to pass Senate Bill 5320, allowing commuter vans to accept hails from prospective passengers in the street, expanding upon current restrictions that require passengers to prearrange transport ahead of time. I was glad to hear in the testimony, Commissioner Ho, that you are in support of the legislation. The reality of these current limitations on commuter vans is that it contributes to the proliferation of an unregulated and unsafe commuter van industry. In 2020, I called for greater TOC enforcement against unauthorized commuter vans after a cyclist was struck and seriously injured. Prior to that, in my capacity as a city council member, I passed the Commuter Van Safety Act in 2018 to ensure licensed and insured operators could safely operate across the city. While we have bridged gaps in commuter van enforcement, we still have a need to address additional factors as to why unauthorized vans continue to exist. Unregulated commuter vans exist because there is a demand and need for them. Many New Yorkers live in communities that are severely underserved by public transit options. In other words, they are in transit deserts. Those living in transit deserts greatly rely on cars still, and many own cars to commute throughout the city, especially for work. Others who do not drive nor own a car may rely on rideshare services, which adds up quickly and requires a phone and internet connection. Instead, community vans become a reliable option for those in transit deserts, as they are often the less expensive options, commonly called dollar vans. These vans tend to follow a specific route, so passengers are picked up in one location and know that they can be dropped off. There's no need to call ahead of time and prearrange transportation services. As someone who grew up in an area that used this frequently and represented an area that used this frequently, I knew that transit options still remain sparse in those areas. I know firsthand the reliance that these vans have on communities. I also know that this city has called on those vans at times of blackouts, at times of strikes, and times of COVID, and then forget about them when the emergency is over. It is this experience I take with me to support New Yorkers to be serviced by commuter vans in the way they know best, and be assured that they are utilizing safer and authorized options. Additionally, these changes, we must also support commuter van drivers and push for affordable commuter van insurance, which has seen a tremendous increase due to lack of ridership stemming from the pandemic, and aid passengers in discerning between TLC licensed and unlicensed commuter vans, something that we worked with the TLC a while back, and we're seeing a drop-off in making sure that we can clearly identify who is who. Lastly, I did want to share some concern I have with an additional issue that has arisen that affects the commuter van industry as well. It is the TLC has recently announced the issuances of 1,000 new licenses for hire vehicles. And while I'm listening to the reasons for that, I am concerned because our streets are already congested, and adding 1,000 more cars would likely exacerbate the issue. These new licenses are supposedly in the name of sustainability, but I think instead the direction TLC could go in is to replace existing gas-powered cars with electric cars from the fleet of over 80,000 for-hire vehicles on the streets. TLC's move could possibly hurt ELO taxi industry as well as commuter van industry, by increasing competition. Despite that, it's showing that for-hire vehicles trips are down from pre-pandemic numbers. This is a step that may be unnecessary. If we wish to be more environmentally conscious city, then replacing gas-powered vehicles with electric ones might be the right move, not further congesting our streets. I do know the Commission and TOC are very concerned about this topic and in this issue, and are moving in the right direction in so many ways. I was very proud to be early and consistent in supporting our van drivers to deal with their loans, and so I look forward to hearing more about that to see if I'm missing something. Overall, I hope we can push for safer and sustainable transportation options by passing Resolution 092 and pushing back against some of the recent things that I spoke about. I do want to shout out Hector Ricketts, who's here from Queens, and a big shout out to Lyra Morrison, who really pushed this issue and pushed this resolution from Brooklyn. And anybody who knows Leroy knows he definitely is pushing and pushing on this issue. But I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad that we're dealing with this issue for the entire city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Public Advocate, and I have to shout out my constituents also being here. I love that Southeast Queens is in the room right now. And so, Commissioner, welcome. First hearing with you as Commissioner. Thank you for being here, and congratulations again for your appointment.
Thank you.
So let's dig in.
All right.
New for-hire vehicle licenses. Recently, the TLC announced that it would issue 1,000 new for-hire vehicle licenses restricted to electric vehicles, despite the same report suggesting the vehicle cap is working as intended. Why is the TLC doing this now, and why do you believe this move would spur the transition of the existing vehicle fleet?
Yep. So thank you so much for that, Council Member. One of the most important things to note is that, and as you know, and asked me about a few months ago during my confirmation hearing, was about the Black Car and Livery Task Force that service outer borough residents. And we know that anecdotally, from listening to many of our livery bases, black car bases, that they need more vehicles to transport people to non-emergency medical transportation, Access-a-Ride, and other programs that really help residents. And so with the lack of vehicles, it is impeding their work for out-of-borough residents. But let me step back a little bit. In 2018, there was 120,000 vehicles. Today, there is 95,000 vehicles that are active on our roads. And so there was a significant drop over the last 4 years. We know that these 1,000 EV licenses, who mostly will go to owner drivers, will not be impacting the overall for-hire vehicle industry.
Thank you. And how will the TLC determine who gets one of the 1,000 new licenses? How many of these licenses will go to individuals, and how many are intended to go to companies that have already invested in creating EV vehicle fleets like Revel?
Yeah, so we are anticipating a 60-40 split, which means 600 will go to individual owner drivers that now they can, many which are immigrants, can now own their own business instead of having to rent these vehicles, and that they can put that extra money into their families, into their homes, and into their communities. And then 400 will help spur additional infrastructure.
Thank you. And how will the TLC ensure that drivers can actually transition from existing vehicles and to the EVs?
That's a great question. And with federal, state, and local incentives, federal being the new infrastructure law that was passed by our president, that there will be a tax credit of $7,500 for those who are making $125,000 or less at the beginning of the year. NYSERDA also has a tax credit for many EV vehicles, and I urge drivers to look into that. And then finally, we're working with DOT to ensure that there's discounts and better infrastructure across our city. Currently, we are launching a pilot program with the DOT to provide discounts for for-hire vehicle drivers and taxi drivers at 2 locations at fast charging stations, including Long Island City and Manhattan.
How did you pick the locations?
We work with DOT to identify which of the municipal locations can fulfill the needs. So Long Island City is where the Fauci building is and where many drivers operate, live, and work so that they can get to Midtown very quickly.
So TLC drivers are competing over a smaller pool of trips than they were prior to the pandemic. What analysis does TLC have to suggest that this move will not further damage other sectors like medallion taxis, and that it will not reduce driver pay?
Yeah, so we know that we have set a minimum driver pay per trip, and that was a calculation that was done by the Parrott and Rice report a few years ago. And we know that for every trip, a driver will make, based on mileage and time, so a 7.5 mile trip that is 30 minutes long will net a driver $22 in 2018. With the new CPI increases just months ago, they will be making gross $25. And with the new driver pay, they'll be make $28. And so there is a minimum pay standard out there that supports drivers as a whole. But overall, I believe that many of these will be helping individual drivers, will be helping outer borough residents, and will not have a major impact on the for-hire vehicle industry as a whole. I'm confident of that. My team is confident of that. And we will continue to work to mitigate any risks. But, you know, the future is now. We need to get to a more sustainable future. And with more EVs, it will fast track our adoption of EVs over the entire fleet. Currently, Council Member, there's only 600 for-hire vehicles that are EVs. This will almost double that. And on the yellow side, we're also looking at various incentives to support adoption of EVs. And when I saw the numbers, it was only 37 EVs in the yellow fleet. I know that I need to do more there. And so we're working on a broad electrification plan that will support various incentives, that will work with state and federal partners to fast track the adoption of more infrastructure for FHVs and taxi drivers. And we know that this is a benefit, right? Drivers want cheaper prices when they fill up a tank, be it with electric or else. And we know that passengers are looking for more sustainable options. And in reality, what we know is that passengers are paying more for EV trips. And so, you know, we want to support that adoption.
Thank you for that. And we know that a plurality of all trips take place in the Manhattan CBD. And we know from research that for-hire vehicle trips pull riders from transit. Could the TLC explain to the committee whether it believes issuing new licenses conflicts with the goals of the state's congestion pricing program?
Yeah, we don't believe that it does. Look, we are supportive overall of, and this goes back to what I said earlier, is that greening our fleet, right? And how do we do that? Is making sure that there is a critical mass of these EV vehicles. We're not releasing ICE vehicles. We're not releasing ICE internal combustion engine or gas vehicles. We are focused on a greener future. And part of the greener future is replacing, right, gas for-hire vehicles with EVs. And we are committed to that. We have set our goals on that, and we will continue to push for that.
Thank you. Just shifting a little bit of focus right now to the Medallion Relief Program and the Medallion Relief Program Plus. What is the current amount of debt relief that the MRP and the MRP Plus has provided to owners?
Yeah, so Councilor, let me first start to say that I want to thank all of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, our federal electeds, NYTWA, and many of our other groups for pushing so hard to get almost 1,500 owners through our doors so that we can get over $240 million of debt reduction. This has been a partnership with everyone involved. And I'm very proud to say that we were closing loans, as I said in my testimony, 1 every 3 minutes at its peak. We're at $240 million in debt relief and counting. Next week, we're going to work with PenFed to close those first loans, and this is exciting for a lot of our industry. And then we will also do a closing day in Long Island City for PenFed loans, which is the second largest holder of medallion loans in our city. And so we're very passionate to get every single owner driver who wants to be a part of this program through a part of this program. With various partnerships with our advocates, we will get there. We'll get close to it.
So how many have applied so far for the debt relief?
2,200 have gone through our owner driver resource center.
And of that, how many have actually received?
About 15, almost 1,500.
And how many owners are estimated to be eligible yet have not taken the first steps in the process? Do you have an idea of that number?
So we're thinking about 3,000 drivers who would could take advantage of this program. 2,200 have gone through the Owner Driver Resource Center. We're continuing our push. There are some drivers have been more difficult than others. Owners have been more difficult than others to contact. But we're continuing to push. We have our external affairs team that is working to send out messages in 10 different languages to notify drivers. Phone banks. We are engaged, and we want as many driver owners as possible to be able to participate in this program. And for those out there who have not yet gone through our Owner Driver Resource Center, I definitely encourage everyone to go through it. Email driversupport@tlc.nyc.gov, and we will get you connected with a lawyer so that you can get supported and you can get an advantage through this program. There's a lot of work left to do, and we are hyper-focused on that.
And how long does this usually take from start to finish?
I'm very proud of our programs team that have gotten some drivers who visited on the same day, connected with an attorney, and then closing on their loans in just one day. It was really a team effort to close the amount of loans that we did in just 1 week, and then now in 2 weeks we're almost at 1,500 in total. So we're continuing to push for that, and if a driver is interested, we'll get them connected ASAP with a lawyer and get their documents approved.
And how is the TLC engaging medallion owners about the debt relief programs that they're offering? And I will say, even for me, I welcome the opportunity to partner closer with TLC, opening up my office if there is opportunity to do some outreach locally, but I'm interested in knowing what you're doing already.
Yeah, so, almost all drivers have to go through our Long Island City offices on a regular basis to renew their licenses. The Fauci building in Long Island City is a location that many drivers know and know very well. So that's why we made an effort to put our events at that building. But let's talk about our outreach. Again, I thanked you earlier for all of our elected officials doing phone banks, reaching out through social media. But we have also worked on our side with our team to call every eligible owner driver of a medallion that can participate in this program. We have provided, by law, information in all 10 languages. And so we have been doing a lot, and as you'll hear later from various testimony, that we have reached out to many of the qualified drivers. There are some drivers who might not just be interested because they're not interested in a government program, and we've seen that in the past. Or their loan amounts are too low to participate. But we make that decision on a case-by-case basis, so I encourage every driver to go through the Owner Driver Resource Center for that support.
Thank you. And are there any remaining lenders that are not participating in the program?
We're working with, so there's about 20 lenders. The biggest lender of which owns, who backs most of the loans have participated. That is Marblegate. Then the second biggest lender is going through, and we're working with many of the other 18 lenders to get them through this process. It's been, some have been easier than others, but we are continuing our outreach to ensure that, this is a great deal for them. This is a city-backed guarantee, and that, to take advantage of this. But we're also thinking of new creative ways, working with our advocates and ensuring that there's a pathway for every driver who is interested.
No, thank you for that. And I'm wondering, like, why are some of, like, those 18 that you're working to get to participate, why are they not really participating?
Well, we're taking a very succinct and iterative process on this, right? So we're making sure that first and foremost that the biggest lender, Marblegate, was processed through. They're now done. And then we're going to the second biggest, and then we will make sure that the other 18 will participate in the near future. And we will reach out to them and show them the various documents that they need to know about. But there are two, right? There's one for banks and then one for credit unions because of the regulatory structure of each of the entities.
Thank you. And I'm going to pause my questions briefly just to allow Councilmember Narcisse to ask a few questions before she leaves.
Good morning, Commissioner. Thank you for being here. And the time, I know you're a cool guy, a cool dude. You're gonna do your very best. But we've been through a lot with taxi, yellow cab in our community. And just to let you know, my father was a yellow cab driver and worked for many years, and I have seen the struggle. And that really hit home when I see people are jumping, dying for a business that was very lucrative, and overnight, their family, their whole resources, their whole investment went through the window. So I know you came at a hard time, but at the same token, we are expecting something be done, and we don't go back. What I have learned throughout my life, you have learned from mistakes and don't go back to the same. If we don't change, if we don't talk about history, it tends to repeat itself. And then we don't want that for anyone in our city to invest all the money and overnight lose it. So I thank you for I see the changes that you made. I mean, that the loan is being adjusted, but it's not gonna be enough for those that lost their family, like you said, one of the driver in the room. And I see Mr. Leroy in the room. Probably it's gonna be a pen for you too, just like he's a pen for all of us. My two quick question: what would it be the mileage of the EVs per charge, and how long could a driver work before they stop for charge?
Yeah, so there's a range of options for drivers out there, right? There are some that are as high as 330 miles on one charge, right? And so there is a range of options. I encourage drivers to look at what is the best option, but right now I don't encourage anyone to buy a vehicle before we release the final rule package and how to get one of those licenses. But we are hyper-focused on building more infrastructure, council member, and making sure that there is enough fast chargings for everyone in our city. That is my #1 focus, working with both federal, state, and local partners to ensure that. We know, right, that if there are some more EVs out there, not a lot more, but some more EVs, it will spur innovation, it will spur more charging infrastructure, and get us to what we want, which is a greener, more sustainable, and better quality of life for all residents of New York City.
I appreciate you. My time is over, but one thing I may add, I live in the transportation desert, so whatever you can do, because we spoke about it, we have to revisit how we transportation in our community, and we have to reinvent who we are and reimagine that city, because the population is increasing every day.
That's right.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you, council member.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your time.
No problem. And next, I just want to touch on safety. So the committee has heard reports of serious safety incidents involving TLC vehicles in the recent past. On both sides, one where there was an alleged kidnapping from one of the for-hire vehicles, and then, unfortunately, several weeks back, there was an unfortunate death of a driver in my district. And so, what is the TLC doing to protect passengers and drivers? How is the TLC working with the for-hire vehicle services to ensure safety?
Yeah, definitely. And safety is a top priority of the TLC team. How we ensure passenger safety is ensuring that every driver goes through a full background check, goes through fingerprinting, making sure that their record is clear, making sure that they go through various courses, and making sure that they are licensed and have the proper insurance to operate a TLC licensed vehicle. And so with all of those, including inside app notifications and panic buttons, we want to ensure that passengers are safe. But more so, right, we need to make sure that passengers look at the T plate that matches the, for high volume for hire vehicles and the rest, that their T plate matches the plate in the app, right? They should not be going into any random vehicle, but should be going into a vehicle that is licensed and insured and is inspected for safety and emissions by the TLC. For drivers, we continue to ensure that driver safety is our priority. We have a driver protection unit within our Long Island City offices to support drivers to work through the legal system, work and make sure that NYPD is responsive, and making sure that they know what their rights are after an incident. But we're also very excited by the very many different funds out there to support high-volume drivers, including the livery and black car funds that support drivers directly.
And over the past year, how many for-hire vehicle drivers have been the victims of assault?
I don't have that number in front of me, but I'll definitely get that for you.
Thank you. And the same, I would like to know in terms of the complaints that have been filed against drivers by passengers as well.
Yeah, so that number I have, and that has been growing. We have a dedicated consumer complaints department that looks at every complaint from a passenger or a roadway users, right? So blocking of bike lanes, blocking of running a red light, blocking a pedestrian cross, making illegal U-turns. And from last fiscal year to now, that number has increased from 1,100 consumer complaints to about 2,000 consumer complaints. And when we go to court on these cases, 95% of the time our summonses are upheld.
Interesting that you brought up about some of the citations that you're getting, or complaints rather that you're getting, because we do have a bill that we're at some point going to hear in this committee that focuses on blockage of the bike lanes, for example. And so I'm interested in knowing, how does the TLC handle those type of complaints?
Yeah, so, in our power, there are two big things, right, which is enforcement and education. I try to lean on education, making sure that drivers have the appropriate knowledge, not to be blocking bike lanes, not to run red lights, not to speed on our roadways, and to make sure that they are supportive of all roadway users. In the last year, safety has been our focus on the enforcement side as well, and there has been 22,000 summonses within the sphere that our enforcement officers provide on safety-related Vision Zero incidents. And so we will continue to focus on making sure that our licensees use the roadway safe, and for the most part, many of our licensees follow traffic rules, keep our roadways safe. But for those who do not, we will change their behavior.
And so is there a process that is in place to address those type of complaints already? Like, so if a member of the public sees a for-hire vehicle blocking a bike lane, and they would then what? They would call TLC, they would call 311, or they would call TLC?
Yeah, so as long as they have the T-plate number, the medallion number, or any other identification number, they can go through the 311 process. One of our prosecution attorneys will then call the complainant, get more information, make sure that they're ready to testify at oath, and then we will work with them, the driver first, to settle the complaint, and if not, we will go to oath and prosecute that case.
Okay, so you already work with Oath on this?
Correct.
That's good to know, because I believe this bill looks at also engaging with Oath. So you brought it up, and I wanted to touch on that. So again, in line with safety, does the TLC believe legislation is needed to assist the commission in driving new safety measures in its licensed vehicles?
I think we have very broad authority over keeping our licensees safe and making sure that they act in a safe manner. And, you know, I'm willing to work with you, council member, on any ways that we can make sure that we can use our existing authority to make our roadways and our passengers and our drivers even more safe. But we do have broad authority, from inspecting every single vehicle to making sure that road use is a safe, that road users are operating in a safe way.
Thank you. Next, I want to touch on commuter vans. As you know, important issue for communities like mine. So does TLC support giving commuter vans the right to accept street hails as proposed in state legislation?
Yeah, so along Flatbush Avenue and in parts of Queens, we know that commuter vans are critical part of our transportation infrastructure. And we do support street hails in existing corridors where they can operate. This is something that we have written to the state about, and we will continue to be supportive of this.
And if provided this ability, what effect does TLC believe this will have on the industry?
Yeah, so I think that it will support making sure that the existing corridors that commuter vans can operate on will be legalized. This is something that our commuter vans do on a regular basis, and we need to just make sure that it is put in and set in stone within legislation.
And how is the TLC working with the commuter van industry to improve service?
Yes, so I have met not only with you, Chairperson, but also with advocates from the commuter van industry. We're working with our state partners to implement better technology, and the TLC is prepared to use as safety and emissions inspections to support the state's goals and then our goals for a safer commuter van industry. We're also looking at ways, like I mentioned at my confirmation hearing, is how can we adopt better technology within the commuter van industry. We know that they're a critical part of our infrastructure, and we support their expansion that in a way that is safe for all folks who use commuter vans.
And are there opportunities for further utilizing commuter vans services to provide transportation in transit deserts?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is something that we need to work with the commuter van operators and advocates on to see where they can expand their operations. But we also need to know that the existing corridors where they operate, we need to enhance service levels there, right? How have the for-hire vehicle industry and the taxi industry evolved? So should the commuter van industry leverage technology to connect with passengers within the outer borough service areas that they operate.
And what is the city currently doing to support the use of commuter van services when it contracts for transportation needs? And I'm gonna just let you know up front, there was a recent, I believe, RFP release, and my understanding is that an out-of-state entity was selected as opposed to identifying a service right here in New York City. So I'm interested in knowing what the city is doing right now and how can we better improve that going forward.
Yeah, so I met with the advocates on this, and I've heard the issue. The RFP was not issued by the Taxi and Limousine Commission, and I don't have full insight on the details of that. But like I said to our advocates, that I'm willing to work with them and support them in making sure that they have the appropriate tools, including insurance, to provide all of these services for the public.
Thank you. And then I'm just going to ask a few more questions before I kick it over to my colleagues, touching on Uber and taxis. So Uber recently announced an agreement to dispatch some yellow taxis through its app. What is the state of this program, and how does TLC believe it will affect Medallion taxis?
Yeah, so this is a private partnership between Aero, Curb, and Uber. Using an existing pilot, the eHail pilot, and so we're in a wait and see mode. We're evaluating the program's success and waiting for additional data from the pilot's participants. Right now, we know that it's a small universe of individuals who can take these rides, and we are carefully evaluating the program to see what successes there are, to see how we can improve service within our regulatory structure. But look, this is an innovative program that provides more passenger trips for the yellow taxi industry, and overall, we're supportive of that notion. If I may go back to your previous question, Council Member, there's been 15 driver assaults this last year. Not all drivers...
15?
15. And not all drivers report assaults to the TLC, and we encourage them to reach out to the driver protection unit so that they can get additional resources to support them and their well-being, and of course their safety.
Thank you. And is TLC contemplating any steps to change regulations in response to the agreement with Uber and the yellow taxi?
Yeah, so we're always looking at options, using our regulatory authority to make the marketplace a better place for all individuals, including making sure that the driver pay and meter rates are appropriate. But again, I have to wait and see what data there is from this program, and the universe of trips out there is very small, and I don't have that full insight into that program as of yet. But hopefully the next time before I am in front of the committee, I can provide you with more extensive data. But again, this is a pilot phase, and it's just some of the private entities have just agreed this last month, and the rollout has been slow. Since the announcement around earlier in May / April.
Okay, and has the TLC held conversations with Uber regarding the agreement, just broadly speaking?
Yeah, we're in talks with all of our regulated agencies, industries, excuse me, on a regular basis. I'm in talks with a lot of folks to better understand the industries that we look at and examine. And yes, so there have been conversations across the board on a variety of different issues.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to pass it to my colleagues. We'll hear from Councilmember Lee.
Hello, good morning. Good to see you again, Commissioner, and great to see all the advocates in the room here today. So I just had a couple questions. The first one is about the EVs, and I talk also from a personal experience because I just got an EV car myself, and I have to say it is a bit frustrating because there aren't enough public charging stations, if you look at the app and the map, it's actually really like a desert in terms of the charging stations. And I also live in a transportation desert, as I've mentioned to you before, so there are no railways in my district. There's no subways or railroad stations, and I have a lot of the for-hire vehicle drivers that actually live in my district as well. And so I just wanted to know, I know you mentioned that there's going to be a plan to push the city for more charging stations, but how specifically because it seems like there hasn't been an incentive for the city to get this going quick enough. And I guess my worry is that, you know, there aren't going to be enough charging stations. So I'm assuming that at the taxi hubs, there will be something. But then also for the folks that own the vehicles and are going to bring it back home, let's just say, you got to buy the fast charger. You have to work out the plan with Con Ed. There's incentive plans and all that. But if there aren't charging stations nearby, will there be incentives for the drivers maybe to install it in their homes or something out of the box creative solutions like that?
Yes, so we're looking at all options on the table, council member. What I'm very excited by is our electrification plan that we'll be releasing in the near future that really looks at how can we broaden infrastructure for charging within our city. What existing infrastructure is out there, how can we partner with our utility companies like Con Ed to build a better, stronger grid to support the charging infrastructure. And we know that we're slowly but surely building better infrastructure. We know that we're giving our drivers exclusive access to 2 municipal charging stations within Manhattan and Long Island City, where they typically go to operate. But we're also looking at additional incentives both on the federal level that the law has been, that the new infrastructure law has been supporting, and then also on the state level. And I think cumulatively with the additional vehicles, we're also looking at for-hire vehicle hubs to support charging infrastructure. And I know that drivers are able to go to various hubs, privately owned hubs, to also charge their vehicles today. But that's not enough. We need to continue to push, and that's why our mayor has supported pushing more electrical infrastructure, charging infrastructure in our city, and we'll continue to work on that and update the entire public.
Awesome. And then, Chair, if it's okay, can I ask one more question on congestion pricing? Oh, Sylvie, sorry, is it okay? Okay, sorry. So as I mentioned, you know, because I'm in a transit desert over in Eastern Queens, I have a lot of concerns about congestion pricing, as I'm sure most do. But my main concern is really, you know, the cost of burden that will potentially fall on both the drivers as well as the passengers. And then especially as chair of the Mental Health Disabilities and Addiction Committee, I'm thinking, you know, the disabilities community, I know this is a very big concern for them as well, because a lot of the families that live out in my district, they don't have another option but to use for-hire vehicles for their children and family members with disabilities. And so especially for people that work and live in the district and also drive these for-hire vehicles, I know technically Access-a-Ride is not, you know, it is the only option, and it's a bit frustrating because I think there are a lot of inefficiencies. And so if we were to, you know, I know that for the congestion pricing, the Access-a-Ride is more state-run, but how can the city get more involved in pushing for, you know, the pricing not to fall on a lot of our drivers, especially the ones that have their vans outfitted for disability, you know, constituents?
Yeah, so let me quickly address the Access-a-Ride program and how we can make that better. I'm working with the Vice President of Accessibility Services on a regular basis at the MTA to ensure a better service for all of our people with disabilities within the Access-a-Ride pilot and then the traditional Access-a-Ride program. In terms of congestion pricing, what we know is that we need to have a fair and equitable process that incorporates all of the public testimony that has been ongoing for the past few weeks. And I know that our drivers and our for-hire vehicle community as a whole have been very active within that. And we know that even with the MTA's environmental assessment that there is going to be an impact on our for-hire vehicle industry and that they need to consider that. But let me step back, Council Member, is that our for-hire vehicles and taxis have paid almost $2 billion to the MTA in congestion charges since 4 years ago, with a 50-cent surcharge on the MTA, a $2.50 on our yellows. and then on our for-hire vehicles, $2.75. In the fiscal year 23 alone, the industry has contributed to $414 million to the MTA's budget. And so that's where we are. And so as a Traffic Review Mobility Board looks at this, I urge them to look at the contributions that the for-hire vehicle industry as a whole has already contributed to the MTA.
Awesome. And then if you, whatever help you need and support on our end, please let us know, because I know that a lot of the residents in my district are very concerned about the potential costs and how it'll impact their daily lives. So thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilmember. Next, we'll hear from Councilmember Kagan.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to ask you about green caps. You know, I represent Coney Island, Bensonhurst, a large chunk of southern Brooklyn, and green caps are very, very popular in southern Brooklyn. So I have a few questions. I will give them right away, all of them. So first of all, do you know how many green cab drivers, green cabs work in New York City altogether?
Yeah, so the number has been declining over the various years, but there's about, I think, currently 1,500 to 2,000 green cabs in our city. I'll get you the specific numbers that I have, but in overall trips, there's been 59,000 trips in the last year, which is a 77% increase in green cabs.
And how all of these changes you were talking about will affect green cabs? Like, I'm talking about fare increase. Do you encourage electric hybrid vehicles? How do you work if you work with green cab drivers?
Yeah, so you know, our green cab industry provides a critical service to outer borough residents. I know that when I went to the Seagate community in Coney Island recently, we know that green cabs are important to the residents within the communities. But I also know that we need to ensure that that the green cabs operate fairly and operate, and I know I remember
Yes.
talking to you about this, operate legally. And so we have enforcement officers out there to look at that and to work with not only the Seagate PD, but also the NYPD to make sure that we curb illegal behavior and illegal activity both in Coney Island and the Brooklyn community as a whole.
But you mentioned that it will be a fare increase. Will it affect
Yes.
the green cabs?
Yes, we will also increase the green cab meter rates as well as part of this fare increase,
If they use meters at all?
if they use meters. And that's why that's
Okay.
something that I know we talked about, and we want to make sure that they're turning on their meters when they're servicing residents in all
Thank you
of our
very
boroughs.
much.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for that. I have a few additional questions. So just wanting to go into a little bit of congestion pricing. While the TLC does not have direct control over the MTA's congestion pricing plans as the industry's regulator, its position carries weight. How does the TLC believe taxis and for-hire vehicles should be treated under the new tolling program? Has the TLC communicated with the MTA about the potential new charges?
Yes, so we have been in talks with various stakeholders, including our industry advocates and, of course, the MTA. And what have I expressed publicly, right, is that our industries need to be equitable and fairly treated. And that's my position that has been out there for a long time. However, I don't want to get ahead of the MTA and I don't want to get ahead of the Traffic Review Mobility Board. But as I said to Councilmember Lee earlier, is that that the for-hire vehicle industry and the taxi industry have made great contributions already to the MTA, close to $2 billion in the last few years, right? And then in the fiscal year 23 budget, $414 million. And so as the MTA said in their environmental impact study, that we need to very much consider the impacts on for-hire vehicles and taxi industry as a whole in evaluating congestion pricing. However, I'm not going to get ahead of what the Traffic Review Mobility Board is thinking about right now.
Okay, and just to delve a little bit deeper, short of taking any stance on like the tolls and what have you, what does TLC see as the potential consequences for the industry of the various potential tolling options?
Yes, I mean, look, there is going to be a big impact, and some studies have said that it would be a decline of trips by more than 5%. And so this is a big concern, and we need to ensure, again, that our industries are treated fairly and equitably.
And then in terms of Vision Zero, how is TLC working with other city agencies to improve Vision Zero outcomes?
Yes, so Vision Zero is an incredibly important a priority of mine and the TLC. Our roadways, when they are safe, reduce roadway deaths. And so we are active with our Vision Zero enforcement, and we have issued 22,000 summonses on Vision Zero issues in the last year. This is something that we have been working with DOT. We have been working on the Vision Zero Task Force, meeting every 2 weeks to ensure that we share our data, collect data, and think of ways to make infrastructure improvements, to educate our drivers, and then also to use our enforcement tools to change behavior. We will continue to make sure that Vision Zero safety violations are our priority, and making sure that our drivers' behavior change to make our roadways safer. But again, like I said to you before, Council Member, is that an overwhelming of our number of our drivers are operating on our roads safely. It's just that small percentage, right, that we need to be focused on.
And in your opinion, are there things the council could do to help TLC make Vision Zero improvement?
I think we have the tools in our toolbox. We educate, we provide Vision Zero training within the courses that our drivers take. We regularly do additional training and then also outreach activities to ensure that they're operating within the framework of our regulations and our city's laws and our state laws.
And in terms of taxi fare and for hire vehicle minimum pay increases, can the TLC inform the committee regarding the process that went into determining how taxi fares and the for hire vehicle minimum pay standards would be adjusted?
Yeah, so for the meter rate of fare increase, taxi drivers have not had a fare increase in over 10 years. And as you know, Council Member, expenses have risen over the last 10 years. Gas prices at its peak was one of the highest that we have ever seen. And so what we know is that the initial charge will increase from $2.50 to $3, which will support our drivers on the base rate. But also the per unit rate, the mileage rate, will increase by 20 cents. But I think, there will also be rush hour surcharges, nighttime surcharges, and then a new flat rate from Manhattan to JFK of $65. And there will also be new surcharges to LaGuardia Airport, and of course, increased surcharges to Newark Airport. I know that we've talked about this in the past, and we try to incorporate not only our community's input, but also the surveys that our drivers submitted to us to make this a robust decision that is based on actual costs of drivers.
And can you address the for hire standard as well?
Excuse me?
The for hire vehicle standard, can you address that as well?
Do you mean the surcharge on the TIF? Or? Oh, yes, sorry, driver pay okay, thank you. Yes, so as I said, initially when the report of the the Parrott and Reich report was first published, we set a minimum pay standard to meet independent contractor wage of $15. Obviously, since that point in 2018, inflation, especially transportation costs, have risen dramatically, especially in the last year. And so we're looking at a CPI increase as of our rules meeting, our public hearing on October 6th. which would look at increasing the driver minimum for a 7.5-mile ride, a 30-minute trip, from $22.34. We increased that recently to $25 with CPI, and then the new one would gross drivers about $28.
Thank you. And my last question is, does the TLC have any concern that the increased cost of a ride could lower trip volumes, reducing driver pay across the industry? And what analysis was conducted to consider the possibility?
We do not expect passenger demand to decrease over the long run. We know that from our previous experience that when we do a meter rate of fare increase, that there is no doubt some passenger demand that goes away. However, that quickly recovers in the long run. And we know that this is an important meter rate of fare increase because, look, our drivers are struggling just like many families in New York. Bread, cheese, eggs, a carton of milk is increasing for New Yorkers, but also our drivers. And so we need to keep pace just so that they can afford their mortgage payments, just so that they can afford to put food on the table. This meter rate of fare is important for our drivers and our taxi drivers who service New Yorkers on a daily basis, and they should be paid fairly and commensurate with the rise in inflation.
Thank you for that. And do we have any other questions? Thank you, Commissioner, for your participation in today's hearing.
Thank you so much, Council Member, and thank you so much, committee members. I appreciate your time.
We'll next have testimony from Assemblymember Khalil Anderson.
No, the comments just spoken. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Chairwoman Brooks Powers, for having this very important hearing where you all discuss today some of the transportation issues that are impacting not just Queens, but the entire city. I'm so grateful to be in support of the Commuter Vans Association's work on ensuring that street hails can become a legal possibility for folks here in the city of New York. Currently in the state legislature, I carry assembly bill that would ensure that street hails are legalized here in the city of New York. The commuter vans started to operate when the MTA fell down on the job in providing transportation to communities like mine, which I represent in the Assembly, in the 31st District, that are often transportation deserts. Allowing the commuter vans to do street hails and conduct street hails across the city in certain corridors, or really work to assist in ensuring that communities that have historically been transportation deserts can have access to adequate transportation. So I'm proud to carry that piece of legislation in the Assembly alongside Senator Comrie in the State Senate, and I'm proud that you have introduced Chairwoman Resolution 292, which would see to push us on the state level to do the right thing and ensure that street hails are a reality here in the city of New York. Now that we've heard from the commissioner this morning, I'm really invigorated to hear that the commissioner is in favor of the concept of having legalized street hails. So it gives us that much more pressure and support to ensure that it passes on the state level. So we're going to be looking forward to partnering together to do that next legislative session. And I also want to take a moment to thank Public Advocate Jumaane Williams for his fight as well on this subject matter. When we think about providing transportation to all New Yorkers, street hails and legalizing street hails will truly ensure that there's a safe way for our New Yorkers to get from point A to point B, particularly in areas that are underserved by the MTA. So again, Chairwoman, thank you so much for bringing together this important hearing, and I'm looking forward to passing that bill next legislative session.
Thank you so much, Assembly Member.
Thank you, Assemblymember. We will now turn to public testimony. The first two panelists will each have 4 minutes to speak, and then subsequent panelists will have 2 minutes to speak. For panelists testifying in person, please come to the dais as your name is called and wait for your turn to speak. And for panelists who are testifying remotely, once your name is called, a member of our staff will unmute you and the Sergeant-at-Arms will give you the go-ahead to begin. Please wait for the Sergeant to announce that you may begin before delivering your testimony. So I'd like to now welcome Aziz Ba from the Independent Drivers Guild to testify. And also Bhairavi Desai from the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. You can begin.
All right. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Transportation Committee and Infrastructure Committee. My name is Aziz Ba. I am a for-hire vehicle driver and the organizing director of the Independent Drivers Guild. Thank you for the opportunity to testify before you today regarding the state of the TLC-regulated industries. I am joined by a number of my colleagues who are willing to give up their time to allow me to testify so I can provide you with our full comprehensive take on the state of our industry. As you know, IDG is a nonprofit organization affiliated with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, and our organization represents over 100,000 for-hire vehicle drivers in New York State and 250,000 in Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Illinois. So the IAM is the only union to successfully organize black car workers in New York and has been doing so for over 20 years. Our members primarily drive for Uber and Lyft. We do not only organize, educate, and advocate, but we also make sure drivers have access to an array of services and benefits in conjunction with our partners, including mandated TLC classes, legal and financial counseling, telemedicine, mental health, dental, and vision care. I am here today on behalf of New York's FHV rideshare drivers to tell you the state of our industry, to tell you that the state of our industry remains very fragile and need your and TLC's help. First and foremost, we want to say that the new commissioner of the TLC, David Du, has been like a breath of fresh air. TLC is listening and communicated like we have never seen before. That being said, we know we will not agree on everything, but can still have a respectful and productive working relationship. And IDG look forward to doing so. We applaud Commissioner Du and the staff at TLC for proposing an additional 7.82% raise on our rates, which will bring the overall rate, of course, to 13.5, bringing it back to the 2019 levels, adjusted for inflation, and tying future increases to the consumer price index. That being said, while TLC seems to be on the verge of approving this proposal, we believe that the economy is still experiencing rising levels of inflation, and the proposed raise will be out of date sooner rather than later. Furthermore, IDG has always maintained that the 2019 minimum wage, minimum pay rate was actually low. While making some progress, it was way too low and not enough for drivers to meet all their business expenses while supporting their families. We also thank TLC for listening and for proposing to establish a utilization rate that seeks to prevent the disastrous lockout from Uber and Lyft our drivers experienced in the past. Before we continue to lay out the state of affairs of the TLC sector, we want to share some good news and progress. As some of you may remember, many FHV drivers were being unfairly deactivated by the app companies without any notice of cause or due process. We had asked the previous City Council and TLC to step in, to no available. So we took matters into our own hands. We are happy to report that IDG has established an arbitration process with Uber and Lyft, ensuring all NYC rideshare drivers have the right and power to fight unfair deactivations. Drivers are provided representation and a fair hearing in front of a panel of drivers. As a result, IDG has been able to save and reactivate thousands of drivers. Now, for the current state of our industry, all drivers were...
Sorry, I'm just going to ask you if you could wrap up, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
You could make your closing statement, but yeah.
Yeah, we just want to note that with regard to Intro to 258A, FHV drivers who are on the road upward of 16 hours a day regularly struggle not only to find clean and workable bathrooms, of course, but legal parking also is a problem. So we would like to definitely work with you to find out how we can extend the current, non-existent almost relief stands to not only expand them, but allow drivers to, have those spaces available for them in case they're looking for bathrooms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And next, we're going to hear from Baravi Pasai. I just want to clarify, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. And we ask that everyone to please adhere to the clock. We have a lot of individuals signed up to testify today. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Council. My name is Baidavi Desai. I'm the Executive Director of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. We are the proud organization that represents drivers across this industry. We are solely funded by the drivers and the only organization that is as such. First and foremost, so Madam Chair, you raised so many different issues, and when you look at that list of topics, from debt forgiveness to the need of a raise, to the threat of congestion pricing, which could lead to massive job losses, as the MTA itself has already found in its report, to really a questionable plan about putting more cars on the road while we're facing congestion pricing. All of these issues, and you also talked about safety, They all speak to the reality that this is a job that for far too long has been under a serious attack where it's been construed as low-wage work. We're so sick and tired of taking steps forward only to constantly be pushed backward. And you can see that in just the list of issues that you raised. I think it's also really symbolic that the city always knows how many complaints have been made against drivers, but they never know how many drivers have faced assaults or have been victims to crime. I think that symbolism actually really indicates the fundamental flaw of how we regulate this industry. The drivers are the ones that serve 1 million people every single day. It's their labor that's brought in the $2 billion to the MTA. They take the risks, they bear the costs. They should be the priority in the regulations of this industry. With regards to just cause, which is the issue of deactivations, you cannot allow that to be a voluntary program. We need regulation from the city council to protect drivers in the same way that fast food workers are protected against the massive job losses under deactivations where companies like Uber and Lyft fire drivers without notice and without reason, any kind of a warning. A voluntary program entered into by the companies is a Trojan horse. It will not protect the workers, and we ask the city council to see through that and actually legislate on this issue. If I may have just one extra second.
I'm sorry, we have a lot of people testify, and I want to respect everyone's time here, but if you can submit the rest of your testimony in writing, we welcome that. And I do look forward to having further conversations in terms of the legislation you wish to see in terms of regulations. But again, we have a lot of people who signed up to testify, and we want to make sure that we're able to hear everyone.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, though, to your question to the chairman with regards to Uber and yellow cabs, the reason there's not real interest in that program is because the drivers are being grossly underpaid, whether it's by Uber on e-hail trips or even by the MTA on accessoride trips, which affects not only yellow cab drivers, but also green cab and livery drivers. While the MTA has taken in $2 billion from the sweat and the labor of the drivers, on trips that are done in yellows, greens, and liveries, the drivers are paid 20% less on those trips than what they would earn actually on the meter. We need the city council to step in.
Excuse me, can we please keep order in the room? Thank you. And
thank you,
if
Madam
you can
Chair.
Please wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I ask that no one in this room yell during any testimony. Please and thank you. Next, we'll ask for the next few testifiers to come up to the dais. That includes Mr. Hector Ricketts, Richard Lipsky, Israel Acevedo, and Latif, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Azara.
First come, first serve.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Ricketts.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson and members of the Transportation Committee. My name is Hector Ricketts. I'm the president of the Commuter Van Association of New York, and I've been involved in the commuter van industry for some 3 decades. I'm joined here today with a number of members of the community. As you heard, Advocate Jumaane Williams acknowledge my comrade in the battle, Mr. Leroy Morrison. He's considered the catalyst in the equation of commuter vans, so I want to publicly acknowledge him. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on Resolution 292. I must also take this opportunity to thank Public Advocate Jumaane Williams and Council members Ressler and Wan for their work on this matter, to ask the New York State Legislature to pass and the state governor to sign Bill 5320, which would amend the Administrative Code of New York to allow commuter vans to accept street hail from prospective passengers in the street, and would repeal certain provisions of law relating thereto. Our support for street hail for commuter vans has remained consistent over the decades. On behalf of the Commuter Van Association, I would like to reiterate our position in support of street hail privileges, which has remained elusive. Numerous attempts have been made over the years to achieve this goal. A lawsuit by Hector Ricketts versus New York City, attempts by City Council members Clark, Comrie, and Williams. The prevailing law, Local Law 115, and for years there's been jurisdictional tug of war between Albany and New York City, since the enabling legislation is Section 80 of the state transportation law. Commuter vans currently operate in violation of the street hail and bus route prohibition, sometimes without aggressive ticketing. This is just a discretionary...
Sorry, Mr. Ricketts, if you could wrap it up soon.
This is just a discretionary gesture on behalf of the administration. We must remember that for years, subsidized buses throughout the city abandoned our riders by ending service at midnight, and the vans were what rescued these riders. Now today, with new technology, one can tap a phone and hail a ride, while we cannot raise a thumb in the street to hail a ride. We're asking that you support this resolution to grant the state the ability to pass the law to give our industry street hail privileges as we come out of the COVID crisis and navigate our way through an insurance crisis. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ricketts. Mr. Lipsky.
Am I on here now? Yes. I have a lot of stuff to discuss, but given the time constraints, I refer to my testimony, and I appreciate this opportunity. I represent Big Apple Taxi Management, the largest taxi management firm in the city, and I was listening to the commissioner, who has done a terrific job, has been very accessible himself, but he tended to create the impression of good news. And to some extent there is good news, but I think it's important to focus on what isn't good news. And what isn't good news is that taxi rides are a little bit over 100,000 a day, which is down from pre-pandemic times. If we don't address the trips, the bailout plan will be insufficient. What will increase the value of medallions is increasing the number of taxi trips. And I have some suggestions in the testimony that I will hopefully be able to refer to when we meet on a one-to-one basis. But I think the largest issue here for taxis will be the threat of congestion pricing. The congestion pricing it should not be directed at yellow taxis that didn't create the congestion. And there should be an exemption for yellow taxis. And when the commissioner says fair and equitable plan, a fair and equitable plan has to take cognizance of the fact that the congestion was created when the city allowed tens of thousands of for-hire vehicles to flood the zone. We need to address that to create a disparate impact analysis so that the for-hire vehicles are not treated in the same way that the people who paid for those medallions for the right to be in that zone were given that exclusivity, and the exemption for taxis should be a position of this city council and a position of the mayor as well, and we hope that is what actually happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Yes, my name is Latif Ajala. I'm the Executive Secretary for the Commuter Van Association of New York and the President of City Express Corporation, a commuter van company that services Far Rockaway exclusively. I seize this opportunity to thank the chairperson and the City Council members of Transportation Committee, the advocate, the city advocate, and Assemblyman Henderson for supporting this bill, Resolution 292. It will be highly appreciated if we expedite this process so that we could be back in business as soon as possible. As the way it is right now, we don't have any legitimate commuter van service in the Rockaways. Our routes and territory has been taken over by illegal vans because of high cost of insurance and excessive regulations. We thank you, like I said earlier on, for supporting this resolution, and that's the reason why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad Rockaway is here at City Hall. Sir?
Good morning. My name is Israel Acevedo. I am an owner-operator driving in the for-hire sector for 7.5 years. This industry has many issues, right? And they can't all be resolved at once. But I want to touch on 2 specific issues at the moment, okay? The way TLC addresses their red light enforcement, okay? When a TLC driver runs through a red light, okay, they receive a monetary fine from the DOT of $50, okay? A month later, TLC sends out a settlement offer of $0 and 3 points, okay? I think that it's unfair that we are the only professional drivers in the city of New York that are penalized twice. When I've addressed this issue with the TLC, the TLC says it's not double jeopardy, but technically it is because you're being penalized twice for the same infraction. Currently, state legislators and federal legislators are looking for ways to make Uber and Lyft drivers employees instead of independent contractors. And the pitch is that they're concerned because we don't get benefits, we don't get this, we don't get that, right? And that's all great. But what people need to understand, state and federal, right, is that this is not a minimum wage job. You cannot possibly sustain yourself on $15 an hour, right? So if they're gonna consider turning independent contractors into employees and giving them all these wonderful benefits, they also need to consider a livable wage, right? I mean, technically it's like $35, $40, which I don't think Uber and Lyft are gonna pay their drivers. People will lose their jobs behind this, right? Because if you force somebody to make somebody an employee, right, then it's pretty much like, I don't have to have you if I don't want you, right? When the cost of the companies go up, they're gonna start counting the drivers, and it's a big concern. Thank you for letting me testify.
Thank you. I have a follow-up question for you, though.
Yes.
Can you explain more about the red light enforcement? When you say that you're penalized twice, but you said that there's a settlement offer of $0. So can you just explain that?
That is correct. So what happens is, okay, so you go through a red light camera, okay? Let's just say today is October 13th, okay? About a month from now, you'll get a notice of violation from the Department of Traffic, from the DOT. That infraction is $50, okay? And then a month later, you'll get an envelope from the Taxi and Limousine Commission. And the Taxi and Limousine Commission will cite a certain rule, and they'll say, accept this settlement of $0 and 3 points, or you can go to a hearing at oath. And if you lose the hearing, then you'll get the 3 points and you'll pay $400, right? We are the only professional, you know, and David Dew said it earlier, right? Most of our TLC drivers are safe drivers. I just think it's unfair that we're targeted that way. I don't have an issue with the red light camera being enforced. Okay, I just think 3 points for a camera violation is just a little absurd. You know, the way they address it, okay, and they don't, you pretty much take the settlement, right, because your chances at oath are like hopeless. You know what I mean? So you take the settlement, you take these 3 points, right? Now, if you get another 3 points within a 15-month period, your TLC license gets suspended, okay, for about 30 days, right? If you accrue, I believe, is 10 points within a 15-month period, your license gets revoked. It's just discriminatory on all levels, right? You got MTA drivers, bus drivers, you got school bus drivers, you got accessorized drivers, you got all these drivers. Nobody gets penalized like the TLC driver does. Nobody. And it's just unfair. And I've addressed it with them. There's a bill that was sponsored by Fernando Cabrera, 748, Intro 748-A. That bill was supposed to protect the drivers from double jeopardy. But when you address it with the TLC, they say it's not double jeopardy. But how is it not double jeopardy? So their justification is, well, you know, the DOT issues the fine to the car, and the TLC issues the fine to the driver. But it's still double jeopardy. You're being hit twice for the same violation. But they say it's not, and I don't know how. And I've got a stack of emails because I got this ticket. And you want to know what it did to me? It put me in a lot of stress. You want to know why? Because I need at least $5 grand a month to sustain my household. I am an owner-operator. All their expenses are on me. I purchased a vehicle. I pay collision insurance. I pay liability insurance, I pay for gas, and the burden is always on the driver. The burden is always on the driver. And you know, we take this burden, right? And we fight, right? But we don't get no responses. And a lot of times we just feel like our voices are going unheard. And it's horrible. You know, it's horrible. You know, the same way we are, whether it's yellow, whether it's green, whether it's FHVs, we are all invested in this business. We pay to drive, and we should be protected, and they don't protect us.
No, thank you for that feedback. Thank you. And with that, the committee will stand at ease.
continuation, roll call vote on introductions 258A and 291A. William Martin, Committee Clerk. Councilmember Farias.
Present. Oh, to vote? We're doing vote? Oh, I vote aye on all the things today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ariola.
Aye on all.
Final vote on proposed introductions 258A and 291A are now 12 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions.
The vote is now closed.
We're now going to call our next panel for public testimony. Oh, I'm sorry. One moment. Okay, we're going to now call the next panel for public testimony. I would like to now welcome Sierra Angeles, Hector Herman, Richard Chow, and Daikite Bamba to testify.
Good afternoon. My name is Sierra Angeles. I'm the spokesperson for the Livery Base Owners. We serve approximately 250 bases in our communities out of 317 that we still have doing business in the city of New York. The communities we serve trust us to provide safe, reliable transportation. But the livery sector is in a state of emergency due to the past decade of one-size-fits-all regulation implemented by the city, most especially the 2018 cap on for-hire vehicle licenses. While passenger demand has remained steady, the community car service sector has lost both bases. Approximately 177 businesses have closed, and almost from 30,000 vehicles, we barely have 6,711. The crisis has affected us directly. Out of 24,000 licenses that we don't have in the industry, 22,000 of them are attributed to being lost in community car services, impacting the transportation deserts, impacting the communities on a day-to-day basis. The task force identified that our livery sector is the most impacted segment of the industry, an admission that diminishes our communities of color in transportation and impacts also by the livery cap blanket regulation. A lot has been said about the service not changing in the wait times. The truth is that 39% of our calls from people in our communities we have to deny. We have to refuse service because we don't have enough vehicles. The TLC has proposed another 1,000 licenses for electric vehicles. The truth is that we welcome the opportunity to be part of a better environment. Our drivers cannot afford these electric vehicles. There's no infrastructure. And to say that a ratio 600 to 400 against individual operators diminishes our drivers, individual drivers, the opportunity to have their own vehicle again and stop renting. We urge the City Council to look into the different segments of the industry as we plead for your help. And we want to be partners in the city because our bases that are located throughout the 5 boroughs can be a place where drivers can charge their vehicles. Yes, indeed, they're gonna save a lot of money in gas, but the truth is that maintenance and other things that come with owning an electric vehicles can also put a lot of economic burden in our drivers. We plead for the City Council and the TLC to continue working with the leadership to bring the necessary solutions to the table for us to continue servicing our communities and to provide the service that we have been providing for the last 40 years. Thank you for your consideration. Our statement has been submitted, and we are happy to work together as New Yorkers to ensure that the city can continue to provide opportunities for hardworking immigrants and their families in our industry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a follow-up question. When you say lost in community cars, what do you mean?
Our community vehicles, livery, the industry has different sectors or segments. We have the black cars, we have the community car services, we have the yellows, we have the greens, and we also have the luxury limousines, the vans, and the paratransits. Our segment of the industry, at one point, right before in 2014, 2013, we enjoyed having 30,000 vehicles to service our boroughs. Today, reported by the TLC, including the 1,600 borough taxis, we only have 6,700 vehicles to service the population of the outer boroughs. And it reflects on the numbers that the commissioner previously stated, saying that prior to 2018, the industry enjoyed 120,000 vehicles. Today, as of July 2022, there is only 95,000 vehicles on the road.
Thank you. Sir?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ibamba Jakite, I drive taxi. My point is talking about to detective, close the app, the taxi driver. The taxi driver working, support the family. How you close the app, Uber and Lyft close the app all time. Everybody work, help the family. That's why I want to tell the city, take the point for that one. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you. Sir?
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Héctor Germán, mejor conocido como 122 en la industria de taxi. Voy a hacerlo en español porque sé que hay toda la forma de traducir este mensaje que viene a nombre de la comunidad taxista. Yo soy miembro de la Unión de Taxistas de la Ciudad de Nueva York, UTANI. Hemos escuchado a un comisionado en el día de hoy muy preparado, muy informado, pero la realidad en la comunidad es otra. Primeramente, nosotros entendemos que la Comisión de Taxi y Limosín, ya con 50 años que fue fundada aquí mismo, debe ser intervenida rápidamente para que leyes y regulaciones que ya están obsoletas sean revisadas. La legislación 144B, que es la que prohíbe la emisión de placa, hoy prácticamente ha disminuido los carros y los choferes en la comunidad que se da servicio, en las bases libres. Hoy no tenemos carro ni tenemos choferes prácticamente para que den ese servicio todos los días. Escuchamos cómo se habló de los taxis amarillos, de los taxis verdes, pero eso solamente es aquí, en los 5 boroughs, en la comunidad pobre, quienes dan ese servicio todos los días, son los carros de colores. Y por eso tenemos que recibir multas de taxi limosín que van hasta los $2,000. Eso hay que revisarlo. Ustedes tienen que conocer eso. Tenemos un programa de manejo crítico que fue fundado en la emisión pasada, en la Comisión de Taxi y Limosín, la comisionada pasada. Un programa que lo único que ha hecho es tener más de 15,000 licencias suspendidas, nos ha llevado a la comunidad taxista muchos enfermos, muertos. Nosotros queremos que ese programa de manejo crítico, ese programa desaparezca para que la comunidad taxista vuelva y regrese. Hoy tenemos que revisar esa ley de protección, la ley de compensación laboral de los taxistas, que hasta ahora, desde su inicio en el año 2010, fue firmada en el año 2008, pero en el 10 comenzaron a ir los fondos. Taxi Limousine no puede obligar a las bases a que manden esos fondos todos los años.
Señor.
Sir, we just, I'm just going to ask if you could wrap it up, please.
Y la tiempo, eso necesita
Ok.
ser, para final.
De manera que finalmente queremos pedir en nombre de la Unión de Taxistas de la Ciudad de Nueva York que el Consejo Municipal y la TLC y las organizaciones y la comunidad taxista se reúnan para que busquen solución a los principales problemas que hay. Muchas gracias.
Gracias por su testimonio.
Thank you. Sir?
Good morning, Transportation Committee Chairperson and all City Council member and everyone. My name is Richard Chow. I'm an owner driver. I'm driving taxi for 17 years. I'm proud to be a New York Taxi Walk Alliance member. Yellow Cab and Green Belt, no raise for 10 years. Last 10 years, average inflation up 2%. Last year, inflation up close to 10%. That's too much. Thank you for Commissioner David Dole and propose for raise for the meter fare for all Yellow Cab driver. We owner drivers are very survived. We have to buy the new car, pay the high debt, medallion loan. We need to raise as soon as possible. JFK fare fare $52 to $70. LaGuardia meter fare plus $5 surcharge to the city. Evening rush hour 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. $1 to $2.50. Night surcharge 50 cents to $1.50. City Council and Transportation Committee is going to find out CPI annually raise the meter fare based on the inflation. Yellow and green card and are part of the New York Public Transportation, so we collect every trip $3 for the MTA. City make $850 million sales between 2001 and 2012. Taxi and HFV industry have given to the city more than close to $2 billion. I collect every day $30 for the MTA. I have the proof of the receipt here. All MTA access right fare and all app fare given to the Yellow Cab should be the meter fare and should be transparency. We Yellow Cab and Green Cab HFV driver, we need a retirement plan. We also paid our own share to collect the MTA to Yellow and Green Cab exemption, $23 congestion below the 60th Street. So last year we protested the City Hall 45-day, 15-day hunger strike. We won the victory, and hunger strike. Me and a lot of our member, our union member, and including Assembly member Zora Mandani, Assembly women union, we participate in the hunger strike. We won the forgiven and the city back guarantee. I want to bottom of my heart, I want to thank you, our Senator Schumer, Senator Chuck Schumer, our mayor, our TSC commissioner, and elected all officially, and our union leader, Bravi Desai, and all the New Yorkers. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to reiterate if we can please adhere to the 2-minute rule. Thank you, because I don't want to have to cut anyone off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next panel, we'll call up Anil Pradhan, Basia Osowski, Jackie Lynn, and Azizul Haq to testify.
Jackie boy. How you doing, man?
All right, okay. To the 5 yet?
Let's go.
Can I start? Okay, good afternoon, council members. My name is Anil Pradhan, and I am like a member of IDG. And I've been driving for the SLV as a driver for 5 years. Actually, I'm here for today for like the TLC, like when the TLC company will issue the new plates for the drivers like me, like old drivers. Like I've been paying a lot for rental companies, and I want to have my own TLC plate. So I've been like waiting for that. And the other concern is like the TLC cops, like really giving trouble, hard time for the drivers like us. Like we have been paying big amounts for no reasons. Like I had an incident last time, like a couple of days ago, and the TLC cops pulled me over for no reasons. Like my holder was broken, and I was just using my phone on my lap for only GPS issues, and I'm driving for myself without passengers. So they pulled me over for like holding my device on my lap. And I said, it's just like nothing happened. Like I was driving in a stop sign, everything in law. But they issued me a big amount of ticket. And they said I can appeal for that. But even I don't want to pay a single penny for that because I know my rights, like I didn't do any mistakes. So those are the things like I really fight for. Like I don't want like other drivers to get the same summons or citizens for like doing nothing, like small, tiny mistakes. So like my concern is that. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you everybody for allowing me to speak today. Oh, I think you're gonna be right. All right, cool. So the reason why we're here today is because we have a lot of difficulties as being a driver. There's a lot of enforcement that's coming down upon us. There's a lot of we get ticketed a lot. We get how do you say that? I forgot. Forget that part. But we're getting attacked from everywhere, right? We go to the airport. They try to tell us, hey, can you take me there? $40. And actually, we got a ticket for $2,000, right? I'm not saying I do that, but I hear stories. That hurts drivers. And hence, this is why I want to say we need someone on the commissioner, as a TLC commissioner. We need someone there. Not me as a TLC commissioner, but someone else. As a driver commissioner. The reason is, if a driver understands the community, understands the industry, they're one of the most educated ones to make changes of these matters. And that's what I want to say. And another thing was, before Commissioner Dow, he was talking about why does driver make U-turns and about Vision Zero. Well, as a driver, a rider will come up to us and say, hey, can you make a U-turn? Now, in that U-turn, if anything happens, we get penalized. If we say no to that U-turn, we still get penalized. How do we get penalized from that? Because riders will take that and they will use it as a way to make another excuse and say, hey, yeah, this driver was trying to sexually assault me. Oh, this driver was trying to, they're trying to do other kind of false, it's all false accusations made against the drivers where the app companies will listen. Now, if that does happen, right, yes, they don't get a ticket, but then they face deactivation. So this is why, like U-turns, it's not safe. It's not safe, I get it, but we need to get more protection on those matters. And another thing is that we need specific places to drop off and pick up passengers. And places to pick up and drop off passengers without being penalized, like, like bus lanes and bike lanes? No, I'm not saying over there, but a place just to pick up and drop off without being penalized. Especially in Manhattan, that's very difficult. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have one actually in Councilmember Ariola's district that I noticed that works pretty well, like a area where folks can drop off and take their time and stuff like that. So real estate is hard in New York City, but that's something we can work on together and see what, what options are out there. Sir?
Good afternoon, committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Turn your mic on, please.
Oh, yep. Good afternoon, committee, and thank you, Chairman. My name is Muhammad Azizul Haq, and I am a proud member of New York City Taxi Worker Alliance. And I am an owner-driver of FAGB. I am a full-time driver, and I have been driving for 5 years for now. We have seen this industry has changed a lot. I have joined this industry with a hope, but now drivers of this industry are facing critical situation due to inflation. Drivers are facing higher costs due to this inflation. Prices are skyrocketed. making drivers vulnerable. Another challenges we are facing from the app companies with the higher fees, while drivers are getting only minimum pay, which is not fair livable wage, while other industries' wage went up. Even in emergency situation, either is storm or a state of emergency, they charge higher fees. We feel it's unfair. It needs to change. Another things we need is just cost protection proposed by NYTWA. I'm working today, but tomorrow I'm not sure I'll be able to work or not, because a simple warning can fire me and my livelihood can take away. So it's time to pass a bill which called Just Cause Protection proposed by New York City Taxi Worker Alliance. And it's really important. We want to see a justifiable cause to deactivated drivers. We know drivers are the backbones of the city's transportation system. It's time to protect their drivers and their livelihoods. And I think, think of their future. I would like to thank you all for this hearing, and it's important for everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to our next panel. I would like to now welcome Raul Rivera, Leroy Morrison, Aloha Barry, and Rakesh Pradhan to testify.
Do you have any extras you want to hand out? No? Any extras that you want to hand out? Any extra testimony? No. Press the button, you guys need to speak.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Raul Rivera. I'm a New York native. I'm a TLC driver advocate. I'm also the founder of NYC Drivers Unite, the only group in New York City seeking the reform of the Tax and Limousine Commission. That's the real issue here in New York. Not the yellow, not the green, not Uber and Lyft. We are all TLC drivers. We have a petition to reform the TLC. Councilmember Carlina Rivera signed it. Jumaane Williams signed it. Eric Adams signed it. And many other elected officials. We ask you to join in signing that petition. It's symbolic. We're fighting for the reform of this agency. It's 50 years old and has failed the drivers. We have bills that have been drafted. We shared those bills with you in your committee. We hope to have hearings sooner rather than later for those bills, for the benefit of all drivers, regardless of what sector they drive in. So we hope that doesn't go on deaf ears. The bills are very important. We're here to support you and your committee. You won't find a stronger advocate than myself. You may see me and look at a taxi driver, but really, I'm a native New Yorker. I'm here fighting for my rights. This agency has failed us. I tried to get a meeting with the commissioner. Just so you know, he gave me a phone call for 5 minutes. He thinks that's a meeting. I said, that's not a meeting. He's meeting with every other group, but he refuses to meet with me. I left him 2 voicemail notes. I spoke to him for 5 minutes, and I just spoke to him now before he left. And all he could say is, we'll see, we'll see. And if you ignore one New Yorker, you ignore them all. He should do the right thing and sit down and meet with us. It's ironic that the group that he doesn't want to meet with is the only group in the city seeking the reform of the Tax and Limousine Commission. So we urge the commissioner, and we even ask for your support so we can get this meeting. We thank you. And thank you for meeting with us in June. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Sir?
Good morning, Chair. I want to say thank you, Madam Chair, to have this hearing on behalf of Commuter Van. The Reso 292, along with Intro 87. Commuter Van been around for decades. My name is Leroy Morrison. I'm the president for New York City Commuter Van Association. Pretty much, I'm the shaker and the mover for all commuter vans across New York City in the Asian community, black and brown community. This today is a day where, you know, I'm looking forward for this for 32 years, to see the black and brown community stop being harassed by the police when they want to take a commuter vans, whether it's a passenger, whether it's a rider, and, you know, with all respect due today's history, so that my grandkids, your grandkids, can see that commuter van is recognized. Whenever the city needs commuter vans, they take us from under the ground, and as soon as we finish, they put us on back under the ground. But I'm glad that the new TLC commissioner and the transportation chair, Madam Chair, recognize commuter van in the black and brown community and the Asian community, that we deserve the same thing as much as the Uber and Lyft and the other neighborhood. That's gentrification. Commuter van been around a long time. I've been shot, I've been robbed, I've been stopped. I still go along with it. Commuter van is the way to go for all New Yorker, not gentrification. Some of the seniors, they don't understand about technology. They used to come out and get their vans. The single woman parents with their kids going to school, they don't have money for school bus. They used to get on the commuter vans. Driver, I have 3 kids and I only have $2. We are here. Recognize who we are, and I'm glad for your support. And it's always a pleasure, Madam, to meet up with you, and I will always fight for commuter van. There's one thing with this resol here, we forgot to put A 9731 in the assembly. That's Kalia Anderson. And we have 18 assembly member I rally on that bill already. And it's a bipartisan bill in the Senate. And I'm asking you, please, Madam Chair, to have the governor's office and also the speaker to push this bill forward, and in the Senate to ask Susan Cousin to push this bill, because we need it. Reform commuter van. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Hoping to work with the transportation chair, and also the people in the city of New York. And I will always hear. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to be clear, you're talking about Assembly Bill 9731, right?
9731 is the same thing as 5320.
Right.
I'm the one that pretty much in Albany, I'm the one that make the phone calls. I'm the one that call, and it's a bipartisan, that bill already bipartisan. I make the calls, I'm the shaker, and I'm the mover for commuter vans. We passed 5 bills in the city council. I did 9 in the state. Right now I have 1 with the state, the governor waiting to sign it, and we raised also $11.2 million to put back commuter van on the street. And thanks to the insurance company, I brought him here today. He's here to bring affordable insurance for all commuter vans. Right now we're paying $35,000, and that's too high. We're moving from $10,000 to $35,000. So today we have the insurance company owner was here, and he left. And I want to say thanks to Kalia Anderson to be here, and thanks to you and all the city council member to recognize what commuter vans are. And I've been doing this for 32 years. I'm the owner for Alexis Van Lines in Brooklyn, and also the owner for Pebbles Transportation, and the secretary for commuter van across New York City. She's here also to, is here, and I respect her so much. And thanks for her. She's here. Thanks to be here.
Thank you for
And
that.
thanks for
And I
having
know in
every one of us here.
in
Thank
Southeast
you.
Queens, we definitely
Yes, and you have
rely
Janet
on it.
right there. She's the secretary for Rockaway, Southeast Queens, the Asian community that cannot speak English properly. I represent them also. So they're people like everyone else.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sir?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. This is my first time being in this hearing. I thank the city council member for organizing this.
Can you just bring the mic a little closer? I'm having a hard time hearing you. Thank you.
So my name is Alpha Barry. I've been driving for almost 19 years, and I'm an NYTWA member. And I thank the city council member for organizing this hearing for us and let us to hear us what we have to say. The reason why we're here because of the deactivation. Uber deactivated my account because I was offered to charge a passenger cell phone So she forgot the phone in the car, and 10 minutes later she called. She said she forgot her phone, and I brought the phone back. So the next day, my account was deactivated. I went to Uber office, and anywhere I go, they told me they didn't see any reason, but there's no way they can activate my account. I said, how are you going to tell me you don't see any reason why you deactivate any reason why my account was deactivated and you can't deactivate my account? So these companies, they're making rules. TLC give us a license. They gave us a license, they gave us a plate. In order for you to be a cab driver in New York, you have to have a TLC license. So Uber is making their own rules and regulation without even consulting the TLC. Without even consulting the TLC, they do their own rules. When they first came, they never thought they were going to survive. Now they throw us under the bus. So the effect that I got from that, was my family just came, and I have a debt. I have credit card debt. I have no money in my account. I can't even pay my rent. And it was just too much for me. So, and right now I'm driving for Lyft. Lyft also is doing the same thing. They want you to pick up every passenger. When you miss one or two, they send you a deactivation notice, saying that without thinking that when you go out there, you put gas in your car, you are more hungry than them. So it's impossible to pick up everyone. So that's like an intimidation. So.
And is there like an appeal process or mechanism that's available, or none at all?
None at all. Not at all.
Okay.
So it's like it seems like there's nobody there who stand up for us, to fight for us. So we are here. We need to stop this deactivation.
Can I just ask a question around that?
Yes.
So for better for me to understand process. So let's say you start saying you're ready to drive, and you pick up a passenger, pick up a second passenger, and then you skip the third,
right?
Skip the fourth, and then they send you a notice.
Yeah, they send you. Listen, let's say they give you a passenger. The last time they gave me a passenger, this passenger was in the park, inside the park. So I was on Fifth Avenue. 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
I text the passenger, I say, I cannot go into the park. You need to come to the street. So the passenger didn't respond. So I called him, and he hung up on me. So he called me, I picked up the phone, he hung up again. So I think he was just trying to play games on me. So the next one put a wrong address. Was on 34th Street and 7th Avenue. So when I came there, she called me, she said, I'm on 34th Street and 7th Avenue. I said, so when I came there, she said, oh, I'm in front of the post office. I know there's no post office on 37th and 7th Avenue. The post office is on 8th Avenue. So I said, then I looked at the app, I saw where she was standing. I said, you know what, Mom, wait for me, I'm coming for you, because I know this is not the place where you are. She keeps saying, I'm on 7th Avenue and 34th Street. And then I'm on, and she said also she's on in front of the post office. But I know she's not on 7th Avenue. So I went there. When I went there, she also told me, oh, I'm on 9th Avenue. So she kept moving around. So I canceled the ride. So the next I got was a notice that this is a warning. We're going to deactivate your account, or we will deactivate your account permanently, permanently. So I have it on my phone right here.
So
I can show it to you if you want to.
Sure. Is that happening in the moment, or is that happening later in the week when they look back at your ride?
That happened, I think that was the reason why it happens. Because every week, they don't go after what happened the other week. They go through the week that you are working.
Okay.
You know, starting
that makes
one
sense.
day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. So please help us stop the deactivation, And also drivers, instead of putting more drivers on the road, drivers that are being deactivated unfairly, I think we should deactivate those drivers. We should activate those drivers, instead of putting more cars on the road. Thank you.
Okay, if you make noise again, you will be removed from the chamber. Sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for giving me the chance for the speaking for this committee. I'm the member from the IDG and I'm the TLC driver, and I am driving since 5 years for the FSB. And today I'm representing to those drivers who is suffering from this cap from the TLC for the license plate. Those drivers, we are working on a day more than 16, 18 hours on the road for our families, for our better improvement of the life. And my concern is this today the TLC is giving 1,000 plates for those drivers. I want to get these plates only for the drivers, not for these fleet companies, because after the pandemic, these fleet companies has raised the price for the plates and for the vehicles. They has raised so much price for this renting the plates and the vehicle. And you have to give the priority to the drivers, those drivers who has been driving more than 10, 15 years, and they are renting the plates and the vehicles from these companies. So I want to give this information to the committee that if the TLC plate is open, it will be the great relief for the drivers, and give the plates to the drivers, not for the leasing companies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. 1 second, please. I forgot to say thank you so much to Jamani Williams also and Mr. Hector Ricketts on the record. Thank you so much.
Okay, really quickly.
Yes, I just want to say that 90% of the drivers are immigrants that have a language barrier, and deactivation is something that could easily happen. I have over 23,000 trips, and the language barrier is a big problem. The app companies abuse, and that's why elected officials and the city council should always put humans first, technology second, today, tomorrow, forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll call up the next panel. I would like to now welcome Sonam Ahising, Zashib Alanti, Manjed Zegrar, and Rashid Ewan to testify. Thanks. You may begin.
Hi, good afternoon, City Council. I don't know, we are leaving the New York City, TLC, we drive the taxi, and Uber they drive the taxi, but this company, anytime price can up, but we don't do nothing. If we taxi driver up $1, they 500 fine in TLC. Same country, same city, same company. Why the two rule? I don't know. TLC looking, this is the taxi driver, this is the Lyft and Uber. I don't know why they do that. And then another thing, if somebody complain for my name or my taxi, I am still going the court, but complainant don't come the court. And then TLC say, oh, they don't coming. So why? I'm driver, I lose money. The complaint man, why not coming? This is why tell TLC do this too wrong, too way. I don't know. Can you find out, please? Thank you, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rashid Awan. I'm TLC driver since 2011. I'm driving a rental car since then. I'm paying money more than I should every week because before I could not afford to buy a personal car to work. But now I can afford to buy a small car to work, but because TLC has a cap on FHV permit, I'm not able to get a FHV permit. They only giving out 1,000 electric vehicle FHV permits, but I cannot afford because electric vehicles and wheelchair accessible vehicles cost a lot to bring them on the road to work, which most of the drivers like me cannot afford. I request on behalf of this commission to TLC, at least give me and drivers like me who are driving rentals cars since before August 14, 2018, when the TLC put the cap for FHV permit, at least one permit, at least one place that week, one personal place. This will be a big help for us, which will help us to have a better life for us and our families. Because I think everyone who working in this industry on rental cars more than 5 years, we all deserve to have at least one personal FHV permit. Please worry about the ones in need and stop giving corporation any new plates. They charge too much rent and also give us bad cars and break down, and then we lose money and we can't work. And on top of that, now MTA wants to add more tolls every time we will enter Manhattan, and that's also something we can't afford. We work in Manhattan, we don't come to visit. As IDG said, we drivers should not be paying these tolls. It's not our fault that TLC and Uber overloaded the market. TLC should pause the license, and Uber and Lyft should stop hiring new drivers. No matter how much of a raise we get, it's not going to be worth it if the work keeps dividing between drivers. A union is needed, and IDG is the world's largest driver-led organization, and they are doing a great job in helping and fighting for us.
I'm sorry, I need you to wrap up, okay? Thank you. And I just want to note, as we continue on, we have a lot of people that want to testify today, so we need to stick to the timing.
Please, can you give me one last minute?
One last line. Not a minute,
No.
a few seconds. Okay.
I just want to say, because we request DIG already, they put a bill in front of TLC that at least they should give out 7,000 plates to the drivers, because electrical vehicles and the wheelchair vehicles are very expensive to bring on the roads. We cannot afford that. If you go to check Tesla, that's like $70,000 vehicle. And if you want to do a disabled vehicle, like a wheelchair vehicle, that's $15,000 just for the lift, to install.
No.
With little money, we can have a small car, and we can save some money for us and our families.
We understand.
Thank you.
Thank you again for
I
your
request
testimony.
on your behalf to TLC.
You can go.
Thank you, council members, committee chairs, for having me here. My name is Sonam Gising Lama. I'm a FSV driver and a proud member of Independent Driver Guild, who represent 100,000 in the city and the nationwide. I also represent my community, Nepalese community in this city. I have over 3,000 drivers in my group, where I help them with everything what they need. So I'm a driver too. So I'm not talking about for me, but I'm talking about all the drivers. So the problem started with the COVID. We were the one who stood at the front place to help all the people in need, delivering foods, taking people to the first responders to the hospitals, to the police stations, wherever. We wanted, we did it, right? But what happens after that was not any industry, not any government took care of us. They just tried to make up bills that, fees, bills, paying unnecessary fees. These things are leading drivers in the poverty and depressions too. So like my colleague said, capping the rental fees, it was $250, the maximum was $350 that I learned. But now, right now, it's like over $700. It's not me speaking. The guy who is paying $700 is behind me, is right there. And I'm pretty much sure if TLC committee would be here and hearing that would be more effective too. But now they are gone. That's the disparity between drivers and the TLC people. And I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are here to listen to us and for the drivers. So what I will be requesting to you and your committee is capping the rental fees right now. We can't afford $700 to pay for the rental fees, They are the mafia right now for the drivers. And we are not rich. We can't afford 100,000 Tesla cars to have the TLC cars. It has to be something that you should consider. We are immigrants. Our parents are not billionaires, millionaires. We are immigrants and colored people, like you guys. So we want you guys to think about us as a human, not like a rich people, who can afford TLC cars for electric vehicle. Apart from that, the unfair deactivations, thank God, there's IDZ. Has some supports for the unfair deactivations. They can come to IDZ office. And also, definitely new plates for the drivers. 1,000 EV, think about it. These all drivers, they have family, they're waiting. And today they are expecting their husband to have the plates in their hand. But I know it's not gonna happen. You know why? Because TLC capped them. Some of the people inside the building, they made a bill to cap the TLC plates. Over thousands of plates was surrendered during the pandemic. Where are those plates? Please give them opportunity, please.
Thank you, sir.
So that's my thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, 1 second. If you look at companies like Tower, they have thousands of vehicles. They just renting out to us, to make money. TLCs give them out thousands of plates, but they don't want to give us one plate. I'm driving since 2011. We don't make much. I can never afford it. That's why, I'm still renting. Now I can buy like $15,000 car and, put my own plates if TLC give me. I can save some money. I'm the only breadwinner in my house. I can give a better life to my kids. Please request them to open not the EV vehicles, at least one personal plate to any driver, at least who is renting since, before the cap.
My understanding from the commissioner was that in the 1,000, that there's a certain portion that are going to be for the drivers. So
it's only 600. If you look at the Tower, look at the American Dream, how many cars they're renting out?
Right.
Thousands of cars, Thousands of cars. Those people need their own place because this is not the industry like somebody joined yesterday and he will be able to buy his own car today. You understand? I'm telling you, I've been here for 11 years. The same industry.
Thank you.
It's hard.
Madam Speaker, if I may, just wanted to add the same thing. So the TLC proposed 1,000 cars for EV. Like I said, all drivers, we don't come from rich family. We are immigrants. We are here to build a family and future. And how can we put ourselves in the debt? Right now, like you can see that medallion people, they are in the debt and something, we don't want to see ourselves knowing that would lead us to a debt. So I request IDZ is fighting for over 7,000 plates for the drivers who've been driving for long. They should get a chance. I have a plate, I don't want it, but for my fellow drivers right here sitting, I'm fighting for them. I'm fighting for him too,
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Okay. And as we get, I'm going to let you call the next, and then I'll say all numbers.
We'll now call the next panel. I'd like to call Adil Gisa Payero Diarra, Onkar Singh, A. Kadir, and Jivan Pudel to testify.
I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge my colleagues that have been in attendance for today's Transportation and Infrastructure hearing. Councilmember Rivera, Lewis, Farias, Kagan, Lee, Narcisse, Ressler, Stevens, Williams, Carr, and Ariola.
You may begin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members, and members of the taxi industry. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Adalgisa Pallero Diarra. I represent the organization UTANI, which is a nonprofit organization that fights for the drivers' rights, mainly in Manhattan, the Upper Manhattan, and the Bronx area. We want to urge the new commissioner to review the practices that the agency has been doing for too long. We encourage that they make changes, especially to the oath department, that we desperately need them. We are pleased to hear about the proposals and the changes that they want to make, which is the relief fund for the yellow cabs, the release of plates, the increase in fares that we are needed for a long time, the safety programs that they are trying to implement for the drivers. We have seen a huge amount of assaults and deaths in the taxi community within the past months, and we are urged and desperate for a safety program that ensures that all drivers come home to their family. We also want to ask the council members to also keep in mind the congestion fee that is being proposed by the NTA. The taxi industry has given the NTA and the city almost $1 billion since 2019 when the 275 fee was imposed. We urge and we are happy to contribute to a better environment, but we are also already have provided money to the city, which we are thinking that we should not be double taxed and it's unfair to the city. We were considered essential drivers during the pandemic, and we provided the services for essential workers and delivery food for those staying at home. Now that the pandemic finished, we are now being considered, I would say, a problem for the city, and that is not fair. We always respond to the city when we are needed. We expect the same from the city, and we encourage the council to please review all these policies and help the taxi industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Thank you, council members. My name is Omkar Singh, and I drive yellow taxi for more than 20 years. And now I am the medallion owner. And I am the member of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. See, a lot of lenders have participated in the restructure of the debts, loans. But you see, the TLC should pursue and rather pressurize the other lenders also to come in this umbrella, and so that the other drivers who are in debt, they can also avail this opportunity. And because the drivers are at the bottom step of the economy, so they need this help, and the TLC should pressurize the other lenders too. And regarding the hail pickups, so it's a great exploitation. A lot of portion of the fare is taken by the company. So we want that it should be a meter fare. And regarding the raise, it is a very important, you see, agenda, and it's taken up at this time after 10 years. We appreciate this, and it should be passed as soon as possible and implemented immediately, because the inflation is so high acting that everybody is disturbed from the high prices. So I again see appreciate the efforts by the city council and the Worker Alliance to pursue this case. And further, another point that as my other friend talked about the double paneling of the tickets, the TLC is giving unnecessary botheration and frustration to the drivers. They look upon the DMV or DOT data, when they see any violation, then they come and pick up and torture the drivers. It should be stopped. That is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So we'll now call our next panel. Anuken Azim Malik, Alielu Jobilan, Joeed Topa, and Sunny Murjani now come forward to testify.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Joeed Topa. I'm a New York City cab driver for 27 years from Floral Park, New York City. I am a member of New York City Taxi Workers Alliance. Driving a New York City cab is one of the most dangerous professions in the world, behind being a police officer. For the last 10 years, we did not have a fare increase for New York City taxi drivers. Over the last 10 years, every 5 years, we also have to replace a car. They're only given a 5-year term limit to drive. The cost of cars have gone through the roof. An average car in this day and age costs you at least $50,000 to $75,000 nowadays. These same cars that would cost $50,000 10 years ago were $25,000. Our rents have gone through the roof. We have to put food on the table for our kids, and we also have to take care of our elders, mothers, fathers, sometimes brothers or sisters who are not working. It's also the sole responsibility of the household to do the best to his ability to make ends meet. As a New York City cab driver, I am also a medallion owner. And the cost of running a medallion has gone through the roof. I have a mortgage to pay on the medallion alone. On top of that, I have insurance to pay, which is about $300 a month. On top of that, I have a mortgage on the car that runs about $800 to $1,000 a month. On top of that, I also have to pay the expenses to maintain that car. An average expense for running a New York City taxi costs you $500 to $800 a month. Because the roads are so damn bad, and New York City has the highest bad conditions when it comes down to potholes and manholes. We break control arms, front ends, transmissions, you name it. It's costing us an arm and a leg just to try to make ends meet. I request that council take into consideration that the fare from Manhattan to Kennedy Airport should be at least $80. At the current rate we're getting is $52. It takes us 2 hours, sir. From right now, from downtown Lower Manhattan to Kennedy Airport, it will take you easily 2 hours to get there. Is your life worth $52 when you have a heart attack or stroke?
Thank you, sir.
The leading cause of death of taxi drivers, just give me 1 minute, ma'am, is heart attacks for truck drivers, bus drivers, and taxi drivers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, committee members and Madam Chairman. I signed up right here to talk after hearing your interest on Vision Zero. I take that very strongly, but I want you to know that Vision Zero is only going to work if everyone follows the law. Everyone here, everyone there. If it says don't walk, don't walk. If everyone follows, then Eric Adams would not have a problem with Vision Zero. And I'm a firm follower of that.
Correct.
And over here, today, I've heard a lot of people put down FH3 drivers for a hire vehicle. I'm not going to badmouth anyone. Back in the days, if people didn't discriminate, agency did not discriminate, there would be no reason for Uber or Lyft to be here. So it's here now. Let everyone be treated fairly. Fairly, everyone needs to live. Not for charge these people, don't charge these people should be excluded, whatever. Everyone should be treated fairly. I don't even think congestion pricing should be around. You're trusting an agency that does not know how to manage money. You've seen that in the past, that hypothetical 2 books that you've heard of in the past. But we all, like I said, should be treated fairly, completely. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon. My name's Anwar Malik, and I'm a proud supporter of IDG. And just want to say to the few brothers that were saying they're deactivated, they can actually go to imdeactivated.com and file an appeal. And IDG, what they do is they just make the appeal, forward it to Uber and Lyft, and then Uber and Lyft comes back with an answer. And if it's a no, they actually fight harder to get your account back. Besides that, in the app, there's another appeal process that is from Uber. With Lyft, you can actually send proof as dash cam videos and everything. I don't agree that they're true. They're 100% fake. They just listen to riders and they just screw the drivers. It's that simple. I've seen many, many cases, which is why I actually became an activist, and I'm just fighting so that actually the power comes into the driver's hand. And through the IDG platform, it's easier for me to reach out to people, help people, and that's what I'm doing. Second thing I want to say is TLC customer service. Ever since IDG came into being, their customer service had went up high. It's still not the best, but it's still high. But now, through that customer service, they're actually financially screwing drivers more, where they're giving out more tickets. That double jeopardy Israel talked about, that's also true. It's just messed up they do it. Third thing is, I agree with everyone else that there should be a driver commissioner at the TLC board. Over here, you got Raul, you got Israel, you got all these drivers, you got IDG. I don't want to say them because they've been failing us. That's just. And about the plates, 600 plates go to drivers. They're only EV plates. Now my guy, after 10 years, he only saved up $15,000. Now how can he afford an EV plate? It's against religion to be financing cars, and we have to respect that. So let's just give them plates for the cars they can afford. They've been driving since 2011. They've been moving the city. They've been moving people. He's got thousands and thousands of rides. Just give these people cars and plates that need them as much as they can afford them, because as a Muslim, they have certain restrictions to follow, and they respect that. If they respect their religion, if they trust in God, we should at least help them.
Thank you.
Thank you. No clapping, guys. You're gonna kick us out.
I forgot to say one thing. If I can have 1 minute. The other thing, Council.
Sir, no, we have other people that have to be heard, and we're really trying to make sure we're hearing everyone.
I'll make it very quick.
You can submit it in writing, sir. We really want to get through. We have more people who are online that have not even gotten a chance to speak yet.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you. We'll now call the next panel to testify. Kihind Kolawole, Nusrat Jehan, Nizam Ahmed, and Skafidis Nikolaias.
My name is Kehinde Kolawole. I'm going to address this issue of deactivation from my experience from the angle of a student. In 2018, I was a student on my master's degree course, and Lyft deactivated my account. Till today, they have not opened it. An issue happened between me and Lyft. I picked a passenger from the city, Manhattan here, to Long Island. And I wanted to cash my money. Lyft will not allow me to cash the money. I went to their office. I'm told they were investigating the debit or credit card that the passenger used to pay me, to pay Lyft, because I didn't take money from the passenger. And I asked the guy, when will I get my money? He said he don't know. That was when I said, no. If you are investigating the card that was used to pay, that shouldn't affect me. Because I don't know the passenger. The passenger was given to me by Lyft. But thereafter, my account was closed. I went to Lyft office, and the guy told me my account has been closed forever. And he told me that one of the passengers said I was parking on the other side of the road. And since 2018, my account has not been opened by Lyft. I went to IDG. They helped me appeal, but still it was not opened. And I want to state here that the effect of the activation of account is very disastrous on drivers. Drivers in New York City, working with these app-based companies, we are being treated as second fiddles. I believe they said America is the land of the free, and which New York is part of it. But I must tell you, economically, we drivers, we don't have freedom of economy to choose what we want to do or to choose what we want to work for, because they are always deactivating us. Same thing with Uber. You have to look it on the impact of the economy. I'm back in school with my PhD now, and Uber is also threatening to deactivate my account for doing nothing. Most of these companies, I must say, you have to do something. They are based on lies. They have become vulture that prey on we drivers, plucking our eyes when we are still alive. You know, you can imagine how painful it is. Many of us now today, in 2018, I couldn't pass my course because of what happened to me. It affected me emotionally, physically, and financially. I have to incur another debt to be able to meet up. And they believe whatever they do is the final. And they are the accuser, and at the same time, they are the judge in the same case. Please, and we have wondered, because many of us, we are immigrants. We have very thick accents.
Thank you, sir. And I have a question. I have a follow-up question for you. Okay. So when you talk about when this complaint is made about the credit card, I'm trying to understand what you were saying. And are you saying that if someone pays for a ride and then disputes the credit card, is that what you're talking about?
I never knew what transpired between Lyft and the passenger.
Mm-hmm.
When I wanted to cash my money, I wanted to pay my rent that day. I couldn't cash it. And I went to their office in Long Island. And it was when I started shouting on them that I'm taking my money today that the manager came out and apologized to me and said he will make sure that I got my money that day. Underline, if I had not made any noise that before I leave this place, you have to call the police. It is police that will take me out. That was how I was able to get my money. But I didn't know what transpired between the credit card or debit card that the passenger used. Drivers don't know about that. So whatever the addition is, whatever the investigation they were making, should not have had any effect on me as a driver.
Understood, because you've done the transporting already.
Yes.
And it's a matter of them disputing the payment, which is something that you feel. Got it.
Exactly.
I was trying to understand it. Thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon, and thank you. My name is Nusrat Jahan, and I'm a member of NYTWA. I would like to talk about deactivation. As you all know, we are an individual contractor. We pay tax as 1099. We don't pay W-2. So the company cannot deactivate us without any prior notice, without any prior reason. So we have a family, and we're struggling with the gas price and inflation, and overall, on top of that, the deactivation is killing the drivers. So they don't just treat us like we don't exist. We are the people who are giving service to the community without a raise, without a benefit for a long time. before you judge the driver, please make sure, I would say, both for the driver and the rider should call 911 if any incident happen. Call 911, let the officer come and note the incident. So, and the Uber should verify the thing, and then they go for deactivation. And if we find not guilty, they should give us our job back, and also they should pay the penalty. So we are the one who are generating their revenue for the company and as well as the city. So we cannot be ignored, we cannot be unseen. So, so we just request you to make rules for the Uber and Lyft, so that they make rules. They cannot deactivate without knowing only one-sided incident. They have to hear from the driver as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hello there. Good afternoon. My name is Nicolaus Cafidas, and I'm a yellow taxi driver. I've been driving approximately for 25 years. The reason why I'm testifying in front of you today is because I want to let you guys know what the TLC has done to us. The TLC has kept us for many years without a decent raise. As you know, the cost of inflation and the cost of all your household expense has gone up through the years. Now we're ready to go into recession, so they say. But the bottom line is here that what the TLC did to us, and they made us suffer through all these years, it's like, astronaut. It's what the TLC has done to us is a crime. They put us through this burden. They make us collect all these state fees, $2.50 for the state, another 50 cents, and then they want to have to put this $23 congestion surcharge. If they do that to this business, this is going to be the last nail in the coffin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call our next panel. I'd like to invite Christopher Garcia, Wilfredo Dislo, and Arifa Tikmizo to testify.
You can start.
Hello, committee. Thanks for having me. I'm currently renting from American Lease. I had ordered a Tesla vehicle before the cap was in place with the intent to get a TLC plate. During this time, I got burned out due to severe pain from pinched nerves and muscle aches. I've been given pointless medications that didn't solve the problem. I eventually found the solution, which turned out to be yoga after a year of trying out different methods. I was more caught up in my physical condition than with news of the TLC. I explained to TLC my issue. They were kind enough to give me a week extension. I have emails to verify my claims. Unfortunately, I could not fulfill the requirements due to factors outside of my control, such as not getting the VIN number within that time period, and I couldn't get a base letter from anywhere. I asked them for another extension, but they denied it. The email they sent, it says that they would honor the request if the vehicle is purchased or ordered before the cap date, which I had an order number that I proved to them. I reached out to them. They just gave me the runaround, and now I'm stuck with Tesla payments, insurance, along with the rental weekly payments. And that's it. I'm done.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
You can go.
Thank you, Council. Thank you for our opportunity to talk with you, to say our problems, try to fix everything. The IDG is a completely working community. We are just work. We need the opportunity to work in the street, to give us our services, and get money for our families. That is all we need, we got rights, and that's the important thing. We are here. But we need work every day. And Uber and Lyft every day block our drivers. They have to give us the opportunity to fight, to say, oh, what is the problem? What happened with my account? What happened with my job? Because we invest money in cars, we pay taxes, we pay insurance, we pay everything, and we give the people on the street our services. I'm a driver for 5 years with 5 stars in every company, but Lyft blocked my account without any explanation and everything. I tried to talk with too many people. I went to the Lyft office and they told me, no, you can't do anything, and that's it. And then we need somebody told about these problems, fix that problem. Lyft have to open an office or any people to talk to us about the problem and give us the opportunity to fight. Give proof or everything, because we are just work for our families and for the city of New York City, and give everything we can give it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Arifa Termizi. I am an organizer of Independent Drivers Guild, and most importantly, I'm a TLC driver for FH3, and I'm a mother. I want to let you know that according to TLC data, 40% of the rideshare drivers, that is almost 30,000 drivers, that are binded with the rental companies. There's absolutely no cap on the rental companies and how much they can charge. The rental could be from $400 to $700 per week. I rented a TLC vehicle from big TLC rental giant, that is Tower. One of the company that is Tower, that is charging almost $450, that accumulates to $23,000 a year for just renting a vehicle from such giant companies. But we don't have any protection as drivers. As FHV drivers, we don't have such protection. These rental companies, they can charge from $400 to $700 a week. And who protects us? TLC is protecting us. The only solution they came out was to issue 1,000 plates, EV plates. The commissioner did say, when you asked him a question like, what is the mileage? And he said almost 330 miles that you can go up to one charge. When you look it up, the price of that car is almost $65,000. So they're actually putting us in a corner, and they don't give us choices to what we can do to provide for our family. I'm not only here talking on behalf of FHV drivers, I'm talking about the people who live in New York City and they move New York City. What kind of protection do we have? We don't have absolutely nothing. As a parent, as having children, as having disabled children, I don't think I have any protection. As being a mother, how do I protect my children? There's absolutely no protection for FHV drivers. And I want to thank you for letting me speak here, and I would like to see some action. That, yes, I understand there are different giant companies. Uber is a giant, everybody's fighting. But what about those rental companies that are abusing drivers? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to state, I'm sorry, I know the chair is back. For those who just orally or verbally have testified today, if there are main points you want to get across in writing, please, I encourage you all to submit actual written testimony as well. We review all of these things. I'm a paper person, so I'm asking for that as well. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for your testimony.
Thank you. We'll now begin calling members who are appearing virtually on Zoom. We'll begin with Diana Clemente.
Time has begun.
Good afternoon. My name is Diana Clemente, and I am the president and owner of Big Apple Car and VIP Gold. I am also the president of the Black Car Assistance Corporation, the Black Car Industries Trade Association. I thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of the traditional Black car industry today. As I have stated many times in past hearings, the deck is and has been stacked against us. Today, however, the situation has never been so dire. Congestion pricing is looming, and depending on the final toll structure, it could very well be the final threat that our industry can take. Today, I would like my testimony to drive home the consequences of painting policy with a broad brush. 3 years ago, the city decided that the proliferation of high-volume FHVs needed to be addressed and responded by freezing the issuance of FHV vehicle licenses. At that time, we pointed out that the traditional black car industry was not responsible for the congestion that high-volume FHVs were creating. Our industry is different in many ways, but specifically, our business model doesn't result in cars trolling around the central business district all day waiting for jobs. It was unfair at that time to create a policy that treated us the same as the companies that were responsible for congestion, and we explained over and over again how this decision would create a disproportional burden to our industry. Our concerns fell on deaf ears and our fears were realized. In the years since the height of the pandemic, the traditional black car industry has not recovered anywhere close to the level that high-volume FHVs have. In that time, we have
Time has expired.
Can I just do one more paragraph? I won't
If you
miss.
could please wrap up, because we do have a good amount of people for online testimony as well.
Okay, I won't mince words. The TLC and the City Council have failed the traditional black car industry, the small businesses it is comprised of, and the drivers that service it. That's what happens when policy is painted with a broad brush. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd next like to call on Galina Kaminker to testify.
Time has begun.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I don't know if you remember times when we all gathered together with you being inside of, I'm now here representing yellow taxi owners. I know a lot of things are being talked about, drivers, but actually we are the owners who've been struggling with everything with Uber, Lyft coming in. Like Richard Lipsky said, that we are trying to reach out to Commissioner, trying to reach out to politicians, because we're individual owners who nobody have to talk, nobody talks on our behalf, but we're struggling. We hear about another 1,000 FF plates to be distributed for free, where yellow taxi industry, we all paid a lot of money for being able to drive. And here, things are being giving away for nothing. We have a big burden on our shoulders with paying, cars went up crazy. I mean, people who do not drive, like I'm not a driver, so nobody want to lease my medallion because nobody's wanted to pay that amount of money for buying a new vehicle. It went up between $50,000 to $80,000 just for vehicle. An industry, the way it sees, doesn't have any future. We being hit with congestion pricing, apparently. Meanwhile, we paid so much to the state, to the city. Every medallion was averaged between 500 to $1 million, or even more $1 million. We're all in debt. This the program that it's running, it will not qualify for me, because even though the debt will reduce to $1,200, if nobody's leasing my medallion because nobody wants to invest in my medallion, how will I pay that $1,200? So it's another way of putting me in a bankruptcy, because I'm losing all the investment that I did to the city, plus with the burden of $1,200. So I'm going to have to give away my medallion for nothing. Meanwhile, I'm going to have to pay taxes on all the forgiven loan. So I'm trying to reach out to TLC commissioner. He's a very nice guy.
Time has expired.
He doesn't buy me anything. It's really, you have to look into why does we need 1,000 more cars for the place where there are so many, like 7,000 cars in storage. TLC medallions in the storage being idle. Nobody talks about that.
Thank you.
David, why can't you utilize them? It's a lot of things about yellow industry. Nobody wants to talk about it because everybody talks about wind, but we are actually 90% under 6 feet under.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, I'm just asked everybody could adhere to 2-minute rule. We want to hear from everyone, and as I mentioned before, I do not want to have to cut folks off. I would like to hear the points that you'd like to make, but we want to be respectful of folks' time. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Michael Simon.
Time has begun.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Michael Simon. I'm a medallion owner. And what I'd like to talk about is the Taxi and Limousines Commission's current pricing rules that applies to taxis and Ubers. That system is grossly unfair to taxis. And this is why. Sorry. TLC regulations mandate taxis have a fixed rate. That fixed rate is a public service and has no benefit for the taxi when the public can, at any time, compare pricing with a phone app. The bottom line is the public chooses the lowest price, not the fixed price, and therefore the fixed price is no benefit to the cab. Taxis are at the mercy of Uber's computers. At their own schedule, Ubers will lower their rate below taxi rates to attract customers when it's slow. There are times when cabs are completely empty because Uber lowered its price below cabs, and cabs are helpless to respond because their pricing is fixed. When it's busy, Uber raises its price, making more money than cabs. This unequal pricing requirement is destroying the taxi industry and its drivers. Uber's price must at all times be substantially higher than taxis, giving taxis the assistance it deserves for following New York City rules requiring it to have fixed pricing, which restricts its competitiveness. And something that I'd like to add on to what I just said, how can you have two players within the same industry competing against each other with one being required to have fixed
Time
pricing
has
and the other
expired.
not being required to? It's very, very unfair. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Basia.
Time has begun.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Hello? I cannot hear you. Hello?
We can hear you. Can you hear me?
No. No. Can you get back to me, please?
We can hear you,
Maybe-
so you could just start speaking. We can hear you, so you can start speaking.
Yeah, hi. My name is Basia O. I am the member of Taxi Union Alliance and a very active member. I am one of the drivers who went on 15 days hunger strike. And thank you very much to NYWT for this action. Our president, Ravi, make something which is impossible to become possible. Thank you also to Senator Schumer and the new commissioner who put some light ahead of our lives, which was destroyed by previous administration. We were simply robbed and nothing happened because of wrongdoing. Saying that, we are very happy that the reconstruction happened, but we have to emphasize more at senior drivers. I am in this business for 40 years, almost 37 years in the yellow industry and black, and I was told that I practically don't qualify for anything. So we have to somehow help the senior drivers a little more. And, to add Uber up to that, to our industry is injured is insult to the injured. And to add more plates, we don't need more plates. We have on the shelf so many medallions. This is the same.
Thank you. Time has
outline.
expired.
People could drive yellow and build up the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Kuber Sancho Prasad.
You can start when you're ready.
Sorry, are you able to hear us on the Zoom still?
Hello? Hello? I can't hear you guys. The city council muted himself.
We can hear you. You can begin when you're ready.
You can just testify. Yeah, hello. Thank you for hearing me today. I am a member of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. I'm here today with my comrades. I want to talk about driver safety. Also, an increase, the well-deserved increase of pay raise because we have been taken away. The pay raise has been taken away by the in effect congestion pricing $2.50 extra on the meter, and also the making the Access-a-Ride more accessible to more drivers, and more fair pay because their payment structure is not aligned with what the meter is good, not aligned with what the meter would pay. Also, I've been driving for 7 years. I've been in the industry. It's been a long road, driving in New York City, driving and serving the public. I've worked with different companies. I'm a lease driver, but my dad owned a taxi medallion for many years, for about 35 years, and drove. I know both sides of the industry. I think that there should be a lease cap for lease drivers who drive 24/7 and who are only one driver. Right now, the industry is at a good place with $800 a week on a yellow taxi medallion lease. But I used to, before in 2014, 2015, 2016, I used to pay upwards of $1,400 a week to between $1,000.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Tasha Larabors.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. Do you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. My name is Tasha Larabors. I work for a Center for the Independence of the Disabled, New York. I'm a transportation organizer. Access-a-Ride is a service that's been around for over 20 years. People with disabilities should be able to access transportation in the same way as their non-disabled peers. The purpose of this program is to provide transportation to people who are disabled, yet they give passengers 5 minutes to get to the vehicle, otherwise you're marked as a no-show. That's not realistic. Not all passengers can be outside within 5 minutes. A common thing that is never taken into consideration are the outdoor temperatures. Not all passengers can handle humid temperatures, and not all can handle cold. Common situation I've heard from consumers are consumers waiting outdoors for an hour or more. Another common issue, try to get to it fast. Another thing, the on-demand pilot program was and still is a life-changing experience for the 1,200 consumers who use it because it's a same-day service that takes you to your destination the same day you request it. The struggle to expand the service without rationing the number of rides per month has been a major challenge. There are consumers who are fine with using the blue and white vehicles instead of on demand. And there are consumers who prefer using the pilot program. We have been advocating and are still advocating for it to be expanded. The disabled community deserves to have a service that gets them to their destination on time, just like other transportation services. Just because they're disabled does not mean they deserve anything less. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Ibrahim Zoure.
Yes, hello. Hi, good day, everybody. My name is Ibrahim Zouri. I'm a New York Taxi Alliance member and the only organization that stands for all drivers. I'm here today to support all the demand that was input by New York Taxi Alliance. And first of all, you know, we need a living wage. We need a living wage because we are parents of children and we have responsibility to take care of vehicle to work with. So I'm gonna go straight to the point. We need 85% of what the passenger pay, or if we can get 100% of TLC regulated pay, that will be good for us. And I'm gonna go to the deactivation situation. I was deactivated in 2019, one morning after I finished my shift. I was going home, but I forgot to close my app. So I get a trip to pick up on Starrett City on Pennsylvania Avenue. When I reached there, I drove to the loop to pick up the passenger, and I stand there for a couple of minutes. When the passenger came out, it was a car that was parked right in front of me when I get to the loop. So I blow the horn a couple of times for the person to move. He won't move. So I tell my passenger, I'm gonna go and see, maybe the person is sleeping. So I got to the vehicle, the guy was sitting on his phone. I said, sir, can you please, sorry to bother you, can you please make a little space for me to pass? So he ignored me. So I keep on repeating myself. So finally he said to me, F Uber driver, F African, get the F out of my face. So I keep my calm and I say, sorry, I just pick up a lady here. I don't know if she have an emergency. I want to take her to destination. Can you make me space? Or I'm going to punch your face. So we got into verbal altercation.
Thank you. Time has expired.
Yeah, but well, thank you very much for being here today for us. You are the doctor. The taxi industry is in ICU. Please save us. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Basil Mansour.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Basil Mansour. I'm an owner-operator. I've been driving for 6 years. I'm also a proud member at the Drivers Co-op. I have different issues I would like to highlight, but given the limitations, the time limitation, I will focus on a few of them and send you a written statement. So the first thing I would like to highlight is the deactivation. I was deactivated myself. When I started to do this work, I was promised to have a stable income, a stable livelihood, and after investing in a vehicle and paying a huge amount of money to start this business, within a few weeks my Lyft account was deactivated without letting me know what's going on. So I went to their office to just ask, hey, why you activated me? They didn't get an answer. What I got was they sent like two security people and escorted me out as if I was a criminal. So by the way, I also teach at college. So, I mean, how can you treat me like a criminal and not let me know why I was deactivated? So this is not acceptable. Council members, please help us. Please don't leave us easy prey for these predators' behavior. Actually, the Uber and Lyft practices, they encourage like hate crimes. So riders sometimes keep us hostage if we don't do an illegal turn. Basically, they can blackmail us. They can report us to Uber and Lyft because we didn't just do an illegal U-turn. So, by the way, Uber is the largest employer in New York State. So, and also Uber and Lyft constitute 85% of the transportation market share in New York. So when they deactivate you, basically that amounts to a license revocation. So there's nothing you can do with it.
Thank you. Time has expired.
I can't just go as a driver, learn computer skills and find another job after investing this amount of money in my vehicle. I will send you the rest of my statement in writing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll next call on Bijou Matthew.
Hello, everybody. Madam Chair and the rest of the committee and all other City Council members present. My name is Bijou Matthew. I am with the New York Taxi Workers Alliance, and I am the president of the International Alliance of App-Based Transport Workers, which is a federation of 19 driver associations from across the world, all the way from Southeast Asia into Latin America. We are currently running a deactivation petition, the global deactivation petition, and drivers from across the world are signing it because it's the one common thing that drivers across the world understand about the Ubers, the Lyfts, the Olas, and the Bolts of the world, that they deactivate drivers without any reason, based on passenger bias, for reasons of controlling the labor market, for all sorts of reasons, and there is no recourse at all. We heard from various members. We heard from Alpha Barry. We heard from Nusrat Jahan. We heard from, and I can add any number of members of the International Alliance of App-Based Transport Workers from across the world who have all been deactivated for absolutely no reason, but even more important, without any recourse. Just cause and a due process is central to reform in this industry. We have to move towards it immediately. Drivers need a 15-day notice, 20-day notice before they are deactivated. The company needs to furnish documentation to say why they are potentially being considered for deactivation. A process needs to be defined for how a driver can defend themselves. The burden of proof should be on the company. Right now, none of those exist. There are algorithms. There's algorithmic transparency that's crucial in this. Every single driver that Uber has voluntary data they've given, involuntary data they've given, and a profile, an inference.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
That Uber has created. All in all, just to conclude, yes, it's time for a whole reform of the deactivation issue and due process to be brought in. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now call on Erhan Tunsel to testify.
Hello, council members, Madam Chair. My name is Erhan Tunsel. I am a New York City owner driver for over 20 years and a member of New York Taxi Workers Alliance. Our meter is about to get a fare hike after a long 10 years. This fare hike should be considered only for the drivers. The reason I'm saying that is because any job or fare that's provided to yellow taxi driver by entity or an app must pay the driver the metered rate, plus any tip the customer might consider for the driver. And we need complete transparency for that from the app companies and from the MTA. Talk about MTA. We are the only entity, yellow taxis are the only entity in the industry that has a mandate or a court order for accessibility. 50% of all taxis must be wheelchair accessible. Therefore, the accessorized fares must be prioritized for yellow taxis. We must have the priority for accessorized fares, whether it's wheelchair accessible fare or non-wheelchair accessible fares from the accessorized, because we have to live by the mandate of the court order. Now, this fare hike came 10 years after the last one. I don't understand why the city TLC has to wait 10 years or 8 years or 7 years for a fare hike.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
I think considering a fare hike every year or every 2 years is the way to go, because a 10-year fare hike comes in a substantial amount, and it also comes as a huge shock to the riding public as well. That's all I need to say. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Mamadou Diallo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mamadou Diallo, and I'm a Taxi Workers Alliance members. And I would like to thank you. I would like to thank the city councilor to giving me the opportunity to testify today. And first of all, I would like to talk about deactivation, how that can impact and affect drivers. I was a victim one time, long time ago, like in 2020. I was deactivated in Staten Island while without no reason. I was drinking just my iced tea. It was like summertime last year. And this lady get off on the car, and then she just reported me. I was drinking something like maybe, I don't know, and then they just deactivated me. And that was affected me a lot. And I know that point be like affecting a lot of drivers, and not me only, but deactivating drivers without letting them know the reason why my other fellow drivers just explained to you guys, it is very painful. So, and TLC also don't have any consideration for drivers or for those kind of stuff. And Uber at the same time, if you walk to their office, try to explain or to ask what happened, they don't even care. So I would like to ask the city councilor and all of you guys today to really take a look about their case, and then, think about this. And most of these cab drivers are immigrants, and most of us have families, have kids, have parents, and have a lot of people to feed. And if you are dependent on one app and they deactivate you, that means they make you become a homeless. And I think which is not fair. And
Thank you. Your time has expired.
And I would like to thank you and very much for having me here. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now call on Zubin Soleimani to testify.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon. This is Zubin Soleimani. I'm a senior staff attorney with the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. I'm going to focus my comments on the two issues where council action will be most helpful. Chair, you asked about e-hails for taxis. Currently, that is the only sector right now where payments for the drivers are not regulated. You get a street hail trip in a taxi, meter fare regulates what the driver takes. FHV drivers for Uber and Lyft, it's regulated. This used to be regulated, but TLC used to require the full credit card amount to be paid for the driver. Now there is no regulation. I want to note that Chairman Doe, the pilot program that he mentioned, has been expired for over 2 years, and I don't know what the legal authority is for TLC to continue allowing e-hail trips to be paid to the drivers at whatever rate without any minimum floor. Council needs to step in. The TLC has not been taking action here and pass legislation that requires, at the very least, drivers receive the metered rate on those trips. Regarding deactivation, I'll just say, the FHV driver pay rules are on the large part good with some caveats. But the other part of economic security is job security. There has to be a truly independent process in which drivers can contest unfair firings. This means a process where all complaints get in the door, not one where the company decides who gets to be heard. If you look at Uber's website right now that describes their deactivation process, it says it's not eligible for certain types of allegations, such as those involving reckless driving or those involving a possible altercation with a customer. When a taxi driver gets taken to oath on a TLC prosecution, they aren't barred from the door just because the allegation is about a physical altercation or about unsafe driving. When an Uber driver loses their job and goes to unemployment, the Department of Labor doesn't refuse to hear their case because of the basis of the allegation. This is not due process, it's arbitrary gatekeeping. This was set up pursuant to a
Thank you. Your
process.
time has expired.
I may say, well, I'll just say that when the IDG was created in 2016, all reported in the New York Times with significant funding from Uber, they created this process. I'll just note that you don't have to take my word for it that the process in place with this gatekeeping isn't working. And Mr. Ba, who testified earlier, had asked for city intervention at a TLC hearing on October 6th, 2018, on the basis that the process wasn't working. We need a full process, real due process. We did it for fast food workers. I'm confident this chamber can do it again. Looking forward to working with you on it. Thank you for the extra time. I apologize for going over.
Thank you. We'll now call Larbi Idabo to testify.
All right, we good? Yep. All right, thank you very much for having me today. I just want to go straight to all the issues that drivers, number one, let me introduce myself. My name is Larbi Idabo. I'm one of the organizer here at IDG. I'm also a driver, been a driver since 2007. Drove yellow taxi, block car, and I'm still drive from time to time while I'm organizing drivers and helping them with whatever issues that they are facing in the industry. All that is something that I want to sum up today from this council hearing, which is drivers that have been deactivated. We fought for having a deactivation appeal. We should go through IDG, and we helped thousands and thousands of drivers, some of which they're probably here listening to us today or standing outside with our organizers. We helped a countless amount of drivers getting their job back, and that through the activation process or due process, as you wish to call it. Now, if that process is helping everybody, no, not 100%, but again, it is something that we negotiated, and thanks to IDG for giving countless drivers their job back fairly. So we are the voice of drivers. I'm one of the organizers that help a lot of drivers. My team is helping drivers constantly. Today, right now, as we speak, I'm helping drivers through that process. But I don't want to focus on the activation only. I want to focus on drivers' pay as well. Yes, drivers are struggling with the pandemic. The only people that they were driving, I would say, the blackout drivers. And not to say that yellow win not, but it were not a lot of drivers that helping all the essential workers through the pandemic. And I think they deserve a higher pay.
Thank you. Time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if we've inadvertently missed anyone that is registered to testify today and is yet to have been called, please use the Zoom raise hand function, or if you're testifying remotely, and you'll be called in the order your hand has been raised. And if you're testifying in person, please come to the dais. Seeing no one, I will now turn it over to Chair Brooks Powers for closing remarks.
So I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for all of the stakeholders across the TLC industry for taking time out today to participate, to lend your voice to this conversation. As it was said earlier eloquently by one of the testimonies, all of the issues that exist today are not going to be addressed in one hearing. So understand that I remain committed as chair of this committee to continuing to work with the drivers, the passengers, and the agencies and all stakeholders around this issue to make sure that we're able to address some of what we've heard today, some of which was pretty concerning to me. And I will say I am appreciative also of Commissioner Doe and his partnership and some of the steps that have been taken thus far by the TLC, and it's going to take us all being at the table together. So again, thank you. I look forward to working with you, and everyone have a wonderful day. This meeting is now adjourned.
Ending webinar.